Hello and welcome to the Computer Game Show. My name's David Turner. I'm here with John Denton.
Yo.
Matt Murray.
Hello.
And James Farley.
Hi.
Hi.
Oh no.
We'll come to the live show chat in a bit because I'm sure that's in the feedback. But I think maybe we should talk about the other thing that happened this week. The new thing. The thing that got a bit serious. Matt, do you want to go? Should we go through this?
What, are we talking feedback from last week's show?
No. We're talking about what happened with the Games Media Brit list last week.
Do we have to talk about this? Because it's all dealt. It's all done. It's all done with now. It's fine. It's
you're
okay.
going to get some praise. Don't get me wrong. In this episode, you'll get some praise. But before then, we have to address you and the way you acted.
What?
Last week. Well, So what happened is that we got this email from the Games Media Brit list saying, just let us know the name of the person that's coming to the awards and we'll send the invitation. And I said, Matt, it looks like there's only one of us being invited. You know, there's 4 of us, possibly 5 if you count the Sean that seems to only turn up when it matters these days as opposed to week in, week out. And I said, Matt, what are we going to do? And you went, don't worry, I'll deal with it. And you just replied with everyone's name. These are the people that are coming.
Yeah,
then we had that email.
I just thought I'd try, it's worth a try.
Yeah, I know, it's fine. You don't ask, you don't get. And then we had a reply saying, oh no, only 2 of you. Only 2 of you are invited. So then we had that situation where we had to create a hierarchy, not because we wanted to.
We didn't have to create a hierarchy. You just did it, and then just told us what the hierarchy was.
Sorry, go on. Why didn't we have to? Surely that's exactly what we had to do.
We could have just discussed it, but instead you just ploughed in there and was like, "This is what I think it should be."
Right, I'll tell you. Do you know why? Do you know why I did that?
Why?
Right, because naturally you go, I think maybe we should do this fairly aware. And I just thought, we're not going to pussyfoot about it. We're not going to go,
we're not going to pussyfoot around. We're just going to do what I want, is basically what was happening there.
But whose podcast is it, James?
It's all of our podcasts, not just yours.
All right, mate, you keep believing that. Oh. You keep believing that. It's not quite that situation, is it, really? And I think you know that as well. I think you know it. Deep down, you know it.
It's
right?
everyone's podcast.
So I think you all on it from episode 1. It's only me that wasn't.
No, I know. But there's a hierarchy even within us 3, isn't there, John? Come on.
Well, probably.
Exactly. We all know this, right? So we had to create, we had to come up with 2 names to submit to the Games Media Brit list and say we're going, right? And I thought we could sit here trying to do the whole bullshit of, oh no, well, either you should go, no. Or we could just say as it is and go, right, let's just get this fucking out in the open because this is it. I'm going, right? That's number 1. There's 2 reasons for that. 1, I moved a holiday so I can go, right? And 2, it's me. I'm the main one. And I know there's that whole, it's the main one. I'm the main one. That's it. That's the end of the story, right? Then it was who was second on that list because they were going to get to go. And in my opinion, it's Matt Murray. And for all the work that he does on the Twitter feed, for all the promotion he does for us,
all the shit memes, all that kind of stuff. That's all.
Right, okay, yeah, but he does a lot for the show. Are you saying that he doesn't?
I'm not saying he doesn't. I'm just saying.
Are you saying that you do more for the show than he does?
I'm saying that I've also done stuff for the show.
That's not what I asked.
What?
Have you done more than what Matt does for the show?
I'd say it's been about equal, to be honest.
Are you kidding me, James?
You've got to be kidding me, James.
All you've done, Matt, is you've just chucked out a couple of crap memes, like repeatedly, which don't often catch fire at all, and then you've done a Dark Souls stream like everyone else has.
Let me put it this way. If Matt didn't exist, if he wasn't part of this show, we wouldn't be nominated for a Games Media Brit List Award.
Well, yeah, that's right. That's fair.
Because he submitted us. If I wasn't part of this show, we wouldn't be nominated for a Games Media Brit List Award. Because it wouldn't be any good. No one would listen to it.
Well,
right? That's fact.
Well, I don't know about that. No, that's actually... I would dispute that, because when you haven't been here, we've still put out cracking episodes, and it's been great.
How's the interface doing, James? Is that taking off yet?
We gave up
Interface.
No,
it's cancelled, isn't it?
We gave up Interface so that we could put the full attention on this show to keep it going.
Why would you choose that over this?
What do you mean?
Why would you choose, this over that? Why would you choose that? Because this is the bigger show because of everything that I've done for you.
We felt it was, we needed to put all our
Okay,
effort
James,
into it.
don't make me tell people what you told me on the bus on the way back from the live show. Do you want me to do that?
Go on, continue.
On the bus?
Can I do it?
No, not that. But
you don't want me to say. You don't want me to tell me what you said to me on the way back. Well, James is now acting as if I'm not.
Come on, let's just move on.
Hang on, I think
it's fine.
Something's clearly been said on the bus, and now I'm concerned.
Something was said on the bus, Matt, and I didn't want to have to pull it out, but now he's giving it the whole, you're not that important, mate. We do good shows.
I never said you weren't that important. I just didn't like the way that you just made up this arbitrary list and was just like,
it wasn't Matt, arbitrary. It was based on facts.
You're just like, Matt's the chosen one, so we've got to choose him. And it's just,
fair, James,
Matt's the one that puts the second amount of most effort.
Can I let it be known that I immediately took myself out of this list, saying I'll try and get in another way. So I wasn't a part of any of this. I just want to get that out there.
Yep, no, and he did. John was fine, right? Matt also tried to do that, but no one was believing him. Matt went, I think David and James should go. And I went, fuck off, Matt, do you?
Yeah.
And he went, no, I do. And then I rang him up afterwards and he was like, nah, I know.
Well, no, I think you rang me up afterwards and I was like, it's just easier if James goes. I can't bother the hassle. I mean, obviously I desperately wanted to go.
Yeah, but even then I could hear you, like, your heart breaking while I was on the phone to you. Like the tears coming down. So anyway, so when we sort of all agreed that that's the hierarchy here, that's the list, yeah? I assumed, because of the fact, James is all like, I don't care, can we finish this now? Can we stop? This is shit, blah, blah, blah. Right? I assumed that he'd go, yeah, all right, I'm not really, I don't care. And instead he just went, oh, great. And I went, whoa, what's happened here? We've upset him.
It was fine. I wasn't bothered. I just didn't like the way that you did that list, because I just thought that sucked. I just didn't like it.
Why not? So what would you have preferred? What would have been a better way of doing it? What I would have preferred
is, see, I was actually totally happy to give up my space, like thinking, Matt, it means a lot to him. We should give it.
Bullshit.
But then I didn't like the way you came out with that list and were just like, yeah, you're worthless on this, so we're just giving it to Matt instead.
I didn't say that, did I?
You did.
I put you above Sean and I put you above Sean and John.
Sean, who's not here, and John, who's only been here.
Took myself out.
Exactly.
So I took myself out, John, because John needs to hear that. So finish that sentence. Sean, because he's not here, and John,
and John, because he's only been here for not as long as like anybody else.
I've been in the industry since 2005. I took myself out of the running.
You weren't here at the beginning, John, when we went through all this nonsense and everything.
James, but what I'm saying is that you didn't like the way that I did it because you were third on the list, and you can't argue your way to second on that list. You can't. You
Didn't
can't.
I write the thing that got us nominated anyway?
Sorry?
Didn't I write the thing that got us the nomination anyway?
No, that was me. I wrote it.
So
you did it with Matt.
No.
I wrote it, and then you deleted a word.
From what I heard is that, it was pretty much John that sort of crafted all of this,
fucking bullshit. I wrote it, and I was like, how's this sound? You're like, I'll make a few edits. You made the edits.
Okay. I've got to hear this, James. Okay, you've got, because we're going to move on. We've got loads to talk about in this episode. I don't want to drag this out too much. You've just said that you can argue your way to second on the list. Go for it. Go. Okay. You got like 20 seconds.
Well, for a start, I don't post just shit memes all the time.
James, you're literally you said that already. Secondly, like 3 times this episode.
Well,
also, he doesn't post anything,
that,
so
because it has been.
No, you don't post anything.
I know, because I'd rather not post anything than post the rubbish that Matt posts.
Okay, all right. That's your first.
So you got that. From the beginning of this show, I was the whipping boy for quite a long time with this show, and you were just on at me all the time about stuff. I've had to do all of the jobs on this. I've done the news, I've done the tweets and emails and all that kind of stuff, and received abuse for it every single week for like most of the time. Also, I've done 2 like moderately successful streams as well, which was stuff that other people haven't done, not just another Dark Souls one like Matt's done. It's like, I've put stuff into this, and I don't like the way that you did that list and just basically made out that I do nothing. It didn't feel very fair.
Not once did I say you do nothing. Not
you did.
Once,
that's what you wrote in the thing. You said I'm third on the list. You said I'm third on the list, and the only thing in my plus point is that I've taken a lot of shit over the years. And that was your main plus point for me. Not any of the other stuff that I've done.
That was a plus point you submitted for yourself.
Yeah.
Eh? Yeah, I know.
That was one of your arguments.
It was one of my arguments, but there has been other stuff as well.
So you're saying...
Sorry, Joe. Sorry, Dave. The other point you made is that you don't do any tweets. So you're...
It's true, and I'll tell you this, right? The three of us are going, right? Me, James, and Matt are going because James got so upset about it. We had to buy him a ticket.
Bullshit!
We literally had to buy him a ticket.
Nonsense! Because I said it was fine, and I didn't want to do that, and I felt very uncomfortable about that. And then you just did it anyway, which I'm really grateful for.
You gladly accepted it.
It's really nice, and I'm really grateful for it.
Oh yeah, I forgot you were going. What the hell are you moaning about?
I'm not moaning about anything.
I'm the one that's not going.
Bob's the one who's brought all this up.
£71,
moaning, John, because he doesn't do any tweets.
£71.
I forgot about that. Do you know what the hell was said on the bus?
Do you know what makes it... Exactly, trust me, James does not want that to get out because it completely destroys his character. Completely destroys him. Like, he's already lost the I don't give a fuck. Now, he can't play that card anymore because he clearly does, right?
Of course I can. I just thought it'd be nice, this kind of thing, you know?
If I told you what he said on the bus, that would be it. Everyone would lose respect for him and he would last another couple of weeks on this show. But so I'll save you that, James, because I want you on the show. Know. But, like... don't take swings at me.
Dave, is it everything goes on the show?
It's appeared to be off. Well, I'm not sure he knew that I was sober enough to remember it because we haven't mentioned it since. Like, it was just not mentioned again. And I'm pretty sure if I hadn't brought it up tonight, it wouldn't have been mentioned again.
I'm shocked, to be honest, that you brought it up in the first place because that was a private conversation.
Why? Yeah, okay.
Well, nothing's come out yet, to be fair.
But you've turned around, James, and started saying, well, what do you do? We could still do this podcast without you. Once you start turning on me, I'll start turning on you. Don't jab me.
Don't jab me.
Because you were having a go at me. You were saying that you don't need me to do any of this, so of course I'm going to react.
No, fuck off, James. Listen, we've bought you a ticket. You know what winds me up, John? Right, is that we've paid all this money for his ticket.
I forgot about this, mate. I genuinely forgot that he had a ticket. I can't believe all of this. I'm not going. Look at me, just being magnanimous about it.
Not only are you not going, you chipped in for a ticket for him to go.
Fuck you, James.
I said I didn't even want to do this, and then I said it's fine. Right. I mean, I can read back to you the messages. You know, I was like,
the tickets
I feel very uncomfortable about it, and then you just did it anyway.
Can you take a photo of James when he's hammered and put the caption, I didn't even want to do this?
James, John, this is what makes it even worse. He told me in the week that he's going to drive home, so he's not going to be drinking at the event anyway.
You're kidding. Come on, think about it.
Of course I'm going to drive home. How else am I going to get home? I live miles away.
You stay here the night.
But the money is so expensive because of the open bar.
If I stay at your house, David, all I'm going to hear for weeks after is you moaning about me snoring. And we know that that's what's going to happen. And I don't want to put myself through that.
Sleep in the car outside. Make sure the engine's on.
James, you're drinking.
I mean, it'll sound like the engine's on, but just turn it off.
James, there's no way you're going home. No, you're not doing that, James. That's not happening.
Hold on, that sounds well sinister, James. Matt, that sounds fucking well sinister.
Like, stay sober whilst we're getting hammered and
75 quid ticket and you're not drinking.
Oh, 75 quid is
insane. Good.
I couldn't believe that.
Well, that's because the drinks are free. That's why it's so expensive.
James,
that's what it is. I'm having a terrible podcast. Can we talk about something else?
I'm having a terrible podcast. I wasn't expecting this ambush.
Oh, shut up. You're going to the fucking party.
Come on, you're probably going to go as well, John. We all know you will.
Yeah, I'll get in.
Exactly. So what are you moaning about?
Okay, right, let's get on to the feedback.
Yeah, let's get on to the really positive feedback. On the last episode, episode 99, that is, there was some discussion about the fact that I edited out some laughter from the podcast, which once again, just to reiterate, I edited out laughter because I thought that would make it funnier.
So we didn't talk about this at the live show. We didn't cover this feedback on the live show, so we're doing it now.
No, because we only had like 2 hours for a live show, so this would have made it a 4-6
Didn't even have that.
No.
Go on.
Okay. Start with Steak Attorney. Truly disrespectful behaviour by Murray editing the pod. Not even so much what he did in itself, which was not funny, but the attitude and kind of personality that it shows. What I don't get is anyone being surprised by this, because for me, it's a logical culmination of a trend that has been going on for months now. I get the feeling that Murray, after pretty early on realising that it doesn't contribute anything substantial to the pod... Okay,
I proved my point.
Who wrote this? James?
Well, this guy who calls himself Steak Attorney, it could be Dr. Steak Attorney.
James Farley. Yep.
Yeah, it doesn't contribute anything substantial to the pod. I mean, whatever. Especially not game opinions. I agree there. Of any use, at least to me. Though he found his role in being a lovable antagonist to the crew that causes a little bit of friction and keeps the show fresh. The problem is, whatever role model he set himself is far more sovereign and charismatic, but he, not getting the message, keeps on disrupting the podcast by talking over the others, since he seems to think that the other members are thrilled to hear his thoughts at any moment, making stupid noises when he runs out of argument since he can't hold an argument to save his life. I mean, it's true. Really? I think I'm probably better than James.
Don't you remember? Don't you remember last week when John was having a go at you and you just went, "Ooh"? It was just some weird bird noise.
He can't hold an argument if his life depends on it. I referred to his part in The Night in the Woods on the Gotti show. Admittedly, on that episode, I was sort of taken by surprise. James had evidence. I wasn't going to argue because I did. Whatever. But digging in at the other members at any opportunity to boost his own standing in the crew, as well as lying while his annoyance level settles somewhere between Claptrap and Navi from Ocarina of Time. So at the moment, he remains this annoying, slightly weird child that gets to tag along because his mum asks the other members' mums to let him play with them. Playing devil's advocate, maybe the other members should try some recordings without the sound in the gears and catch some feedback, but it's just my personal opinion. I mean, thanks for the feedback.
Oh God, this guy wants you off the show.
Thanks for the feedback, Tony. Really appreciate that. I mean, tell us what you really feel next time. It's great to be a fan favourite. That's what I'm saying. Kieran tweeting, absolutely unbelievable behaviour from Matt. Genuinely astounded at how low he'd go to make himself better on the pod. It wasn't about that. Thomas Wergler, edit was fine, drama was ridiculous. Dirty laundry is best kept off of podcasts. Now, I'm sorry for the first 25 minutes of this podcast, Thomas, but you better get used to it. Athena Allen wasn't happy either, surprise, surprise. Scum was her first tweet. The second was, tell you what, lads, he's being proper rude this week. I reckon it's time to give him the boot. We got an email about this as well. Regarding episode 99, Matt is a cunt. That is all regarding
straight to the point.
Harrison Hunt. Thanks again. I mean, there was a lot to these. I mean, I've got. There's some people defending me. Sad Songs tweeted said I'm with Matt on this one. Malicious editing, shit memes, Farpoint. Hang on, I think it's defending me. Farpoint, stealing from kids. The man knows no bounds, but it's good entertainment. Other people asking for 3-month bans, which I don't think. I mean, Chod saying he doesn't give a fuck. So. Probably mostly negative, I'll be honest. But
yeah, I mean,
you forgot about the hashtag.
What was the hashtag?
Hashtag fuck him off.
Yeah. Well, yeah. On that tweet, is at least 3-month ban for Matt. What's Chet Roivers up to these days? Hashtag fuck him off.
I'll tell you this, right? I think it hit home with Matt a little bit because you seemed genuinely rocked that people were booing you at the live show. You seemed genuinely taken back by that.
Well, I mean, I wasn't surprised, but it was quite loud. I thought it'd be like 2 or 3 members, but not most of the room.
Even James said, I think Matt might have been a little bit fazed by the fact that he was booed so hard at the start of the live show. And were you?
No, it's fine.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it was a bit shocking, but also. Given the last few months, I don't think I deserve it, but whatever.
How do you not think you deserve it?
Just, I'm not that bad, really.
Yeah, I know, but it wasn't what you did, it was the way you reacted. I mean, just turning on John like that out of nowhere was insane.
That's just, it's fine. Isn't it, John?
What? What's fine?
Exactly. So let's move on. So, yeah, I mean, we've got a lot of tweets about that. I mean, a lot of people saying, he's sure he's still steals from kids. He deletes laughter from podcasts. Apart from that, it's not so bad. So thank you, everyone, for your feedback. I'll take it on board. I'll try and be better next time. But also, if there is an edit it needs to be doing, then I'll do it. I don't think I'm going to stop doing it.
No, you won't. No, you won't. Okay, fine.
I mean, basically, so another bit of feedback. Ben Bowles, feedback for the last show. Can David and John decide whether to pronounce it Ubisoft or Ubisoft and stick to it, please?
No,
Ubisoft.
John is more likely to know the correct thing than I am, but I've always said Ubisoft. Have I said Ubisoft? I can't even remember what I say now.
I think everyone in the company calls it Ubisoft.
Yeah, okay. So, I don't doubt that, but I'm not changing the way I talk.
But they're French, so it should be Ubisoft. So
yeah,
but they get to call it whatever the fuck they want.
I say Ub. I say Ub. Yeah, I mean, basically 99% of the feedback was either me doing edit, and then also we got absolutely tons of positive feedback from the live show.
Well, should we go over that quickly?
I haven't actually I haven't actually collected the tweets just because we got an absolute billion, but safe to say we got a lot of positive tweets about the show. And it was amazing fun to do.
It went surprisingly well, I thought. I mean, credit where it's due. I usually, this is your time to shine, Matt. James, sorry.
Oh. No, so it's always the number was in your mind. But go on.
You just sprung to life, mate. You were brilliant.
Yeah,
I was a little bit. I wasn't like crazily concerned because you seemed pretty confident about getting up there. You didn't seem nervous or anything, so I was quite comfortable about it all. But there was part of me going, I wonder what he's like on stage. But you just fucking shone. It was brilliant.
James he's done the reps, mate. He's done the reps more than any of us by a mile.
I know, this is what I didn't understand. Why, you
done the reps,
surprised.
You could see it.
It's weird.
I don't know. I think I'm probably a little bit more experienced, aren't I?
No, James, how many lectures do you do a week?
I don't do many lectures a week, but I've
Imagine
got
going
on
to one of your lectures.
How many years have you done teaching, Dave? Standing up in front of people.
You weren't teaching. No, it's different. You weren't teaching.
It's not though.
I did stand-up comedy for 2 years. I've done it quite recently. Like trying to get up on stage and making people laugh and entertaining them is different from doing a lecture, right?
Not really. No. Well, to a degree, but it's all about. It's all
to
about.
To a degree. Look at that. He's thrown in the puns. I love it.
He's on it.
You see, part of it is it's a performance anyway. Like any time that you do that, you are performing to a degree.
Yeah, but you know what you're saying, and you haven't got the pressure of it. Anyway, I'm not comparing, right? You were brilliant. There's no doubt about that. When you strolled up onto the podium and got your news out, I just thought this is because we hadn't planned that until the last minute, where James just went, "Dave, I've got an idea," and I was like, "Oh God, don't!" and he went, "I'm going to do my news from the podium," and I was like, "That's the best idea you've ever had." And he just strolled up there, and it was great. And then when you were wandering around the crowd, it was funny.
Yeah, it's funny. The first question, I can't remember who did it, but you stood about a foot back and just shoved the mic in his face, but you're a little bit too far away. But I love that. Yeah, you're great.
We were gutted you weren't there, John. I must admit, it felt like you needed to finish things with Matt,
it was a shame.
Actually finish it with Matt, and B, it's when you've got someone missing from the show, it's like a big. I mean, it's totally understandable. Don't get me wrong, and obviously Matt was giving it the whole he's bottled it and stuff, but you had a sick kid, and what can you do? But it was gutting that you weren't there. It would,
Yeah, especially watching it back. I mean, I apologise to anybody who did want to see me hurt Matt Murray, but there's always time for that in the future. But yeah, watching it back, I watched the YouTube edit, and I was gutted to not have been there. But to be fair, like I said, if I had been there on 2 hours sleep with a sick kid and stressed everything, the show would have been me fainting on stage from just feeling like death. So it wouldn't have been very good.
But thanks to everyone that came, and thanks to the feedback we got after we got off stage, not only from the listeners and stuff, but from people that worked there, was just extremely dangerous for my ego, because afterwards I felt like, oh my God, we're going to take over the world now. This is it. Here we go. Patreon?
Yeah.
Get ready. There's a lot of money coming your way. But yeah, it felt really good. And then what happened after was a complete... Because it's been a bit of a horrific week, isn't it? We were struggling to get the show out. We kept asking for the audio, and so we could put the show out on time. That didn't come, and it was pushed back and back and back. And then finally we got the email to tell us that the audio was broken. And honestly, I can't tell you how depressed I was about that, because there was part of me thinking, we do this stuff and it's in our own little bubble, and people in our family and our friends and workplace and stuff, they don't know what this is. They don't understand, what podcasting is, why anyone would talk about games for this length of time, and so on. And it was kind of like, this is something we've done that people can see and say, actually, well, this is pretty cool. Like, we had an audience there and people seem to be enjoying it. And, it was like sort of justification for all the years that we've put into this. And then when we got the audio and it was fucked, I was like, oh my God, this is horrific.
Yeah, I was absolutely devastated.
The reason we didn't put it out as a podcast was because when you just listen to the audio, it is quite irritating to listen to. Like, there's the audio skips like all the time, where the mic sort of cuts out for a microsecond, and it's really irritating to listen to. However, when I got home, I managed to sync up the audio with a video, and we thought, actually, it's not too bad to watch because you kind of fill in the gaps from what you're seeing. So if you haven't seen it yet, go onto our YouTube channel. The full show is on there. It's about an hour and 15 minutes, and you get to see everything that happened on stage, and you get to see James actually absolutely run things. And yeah, I'm really glad I put it out there. But all that stuff I said about justification, I sent it to my dad, hoping that I'd get well done, mate. That was, that's impressive or whatever. Instead, he just slagged Matt off for about 10 minutes. He just sent me a text saying, what the fuck is going on with Matt? He looks like a Guess Who character.
Yeah, well.
Has he got a beard? Is he bald? Flipped out? Is it Matt?
Is he wearing tights?
That was it. That literally the only comment he said about it. I was absolutely, I feel like needy child again.
I've got to say though, Dave, you did a very good job with that video. It was very good.
I didn't actually do that much. I just shifted the audio over a little bit and it synced up, so it was all right.
I mean, at the beginning it was a bit iffy, but then it was fine after a bit.
Yeah, it improves as you go on. But cheers. No, it was it was a great day. It was a great day, and we hope to do more live shows in the future.
We also had like a meet afterwards, because there was like a Discord meet, but we came along and a few others did, and it was really great to meet loads of listeners, and yeah, it was just a great day.
Did I tell you, John? Someone bought a copy of Yakuza for us to sign.
How did they?
Just me and James. Yeah, I didn't know what to write. I've never written an autograph before. I was like, "What the fuck? What the fuck?
You've never written your name before, David?
Well, it's not just writing your name, is it? It's like a signature. Not
you've never
a signature.
You've never signed
that
something,
out
because that's odd.
Yeah, but did you just sign it like you would do like a?
Well, no, not exactly. But
No, exactly. You don't want to put your signature out there, do you? So the autograph's a bit different. And I was like, ugh. And did you write anything, or did you just scribble your name on it?
I just scribbled my name, and I was a bit annoyed because you'd already taken the character I wanted. Like you'd already written all over him.
I kind of regretted not writing 4 out of 10 on it because I would have infuriated you, but I didn't want to ruin that man's game. And then it was really funny because, John, when we were walking around the expo, people were coming up to James and Matt throughout the day and saying, "Hi, nice to meet you. Love the show," and all that stuff.
Oh, and hi, Matt.
No one come up to me. And I just thought, I've played that just right. I offer the right amount of arrogance and intimidation to mean that no one comes up to me and talks to me. No. There was one guy right at the end, just before we were about to go on stage, that said hello, and he was really nice, and we spoke to him for a little bit. But yeah, no, there's people coming up to James, standing next to me, and I'm going, they're embarrassing themselves. They're missing the main deal here. They're just wasting it on a side character.
You sound a bit like when Matt was pretending he wasn't hurt by the booze.
That's true. I was a little bit upset, to be honest with you, John. And you've exposed me there.
Devastated.
Good day all round. Hopefully there'll be more in the future. Is that it for feedback? Did that cover everything?
Yeah, that's everything. If you want to leave us feedback about this show or anything else we do, it's thecomputergameshow@gmail.com, or you can tweet us at ComputerGamePod on Twitter.
So let's get on to the news with James Farley. So he's probably set up a makeshift podium in his garage made out of milk crates. Yeah. And he's standing at it now.
I'm not sure I can listen to this segment anymore without picturing James walking up and delivering it on stage.
Over.
It's not on a piece of paper this time, though, which is good, because that threw me off a bit when we did it at the live show. But anyway...
Yeah, it does that.
This is okay. So this is following on from the live show, because remember we talked about Billy Mitchell and his he's having his scores erased from Twin Galaxies. Well, he's now struck back about this because
as he said, "I will crush you all."
Well,
was that his response?
Well, not quite, but he had these records erased because they said that they'd been using an emulator or whatever. So this is the Midwest Gaming Classic in Milwaukee. Is that how you pronounce it? I can't remember.
Milwaukee. Okay. Yeah. So he's done a video. He's done a video, and he doesn't look like he's aged much. Since he was on King of Kong, he looks pretty good. He's still got the mullet, and he was wearing like this whole suit, which was like like American, like the flag and all that kind of stuff. He
loves it. He loves America, doesn't he?
He does.
He fucking loves that country.
He absolutely clearly does. But I mean,
fair play to him.
In this video, he didn't actually say much. He just said that he hadn't been given a fair voice, and that the articles have been written for clicks, and that there'd be a full explanation soon. But then
I can't wait for that.
But then no detail about what this proof is going to entail at all. That was it. He just said, "Okay, I'm gonna forget all the doubters and all that kind of thing. This isn't true. I'm going to come out with some proof," but he hasn't done it yet.
I mean, this is going to be...
That's the most Billy Mitchell.
This is going to be such an amazing documentary, isn't it? Like, I want them to follow him around where he gets all the evidence and delivers it to, the score adjudicators. Surely he's getting this videoed as we speak.
It's the new Making a Murderer, isn't it? Where he films how he's been framed throughout the whole thing, and he'll find a blood vial somewhere that's been opened.
Yeah.
And it'll be proven innocent. It's going to happen.
They call it Mekong a murderer because it's anything else, James?
Any other news stories, James?
Yeah. So next one we got is Campo. Is it? Yes, Campo Santo has been bought by Valve.
This is crazy. This came out of nowhere.
Well, it's like all 12 members of the team have now joined Valve, and because they were working on In the Valley of the Gods, and that's going to continue, but it's now going to be a Valve game, like it's going to be released as one of this.
Okay. Let's get this straight. These stories are only fun if they've got details on how much it was bought out for. Is that on there?
No, there's no detail about that.
Ah, you're kidding me. Because these are... the majority of the people are Idle Thumbs guys, right?
I don't know about majority, but yeah, I mean, it's Chris Remo and Sean Vanneman and Jake Rodkin, and then Ollie Moss used to... I'm not sure if he still works at Ollie Moss, but the art guy, the artist who then worked on Firewatch. I'm not sure if he still works there, but it basically it's an Idle Thumbs joint, but there's 12 members of staff there now, so it's great.
Has there been an Idle Thumbs episode out since this buyout has been announced?
I don't think so. I don't listen to it anymore, but... I don't think so. I mean, this only happened late last week, so I'll definitely listen to the next one.
Yeah, you've got to, right? Because they're probably loaded now, right? They've got to be.
Well, I don't know, because, I mean, they said that they'd gone to work for Valve. It didn't... has the company actually definitely been, just bought up by them, or what's happened?
Well,
if they own them, then yes.
Hold on, aren't you in charge of the news?
I did just realise that as I was saying that actually I probably
again, I love.
Hold on, what's happened?
That on BBC News. Like that. Hang on, so what's actually happening with Trump? Anyone? Right, come on, James.
Asking the cameraman.
Anyone? James, come on, give us the details as you, the news hound source this news.
Well, so that's pretty much all I've got.
Okay.
Apart from
good reporting.
Unbelievable. Okay, well, good luck to them. I hope they're millionaires.
Yeah,
now.
I mean, when Valve said that they would definitely be releasing games this year, I naively thought they'd be developing them, but no, they're just going to buy the companies and release them under their own name. So, well done.
Have they? I mean, how many studios do they own? Do they own many? Because I don't think I've seen a Valve developed game, if you want to call it that, like a Valve-owned game been released for ages.
No, they haven't. I mean, they've got Dota and they got the Dota card game, which is coming. But actually, in only the last probably 3 or 4 weeks, they've said, we're gonna get back to releasing games and whatnot. But
there was a weird Portal game, wasn't there, that came out that was for mobile and stuff.
Oh yeah,
that was but nobody was really interested in that. But still not Half-Life 3, which is a shame.
Okay, what other half-baked stories have you got there?
Well, this one is a good story, I think, which is that Konami is ending its partnership with UEFA now. So this is for PES, and they've been working together for 10 years. And what's interesting about this is it seems to be it was on Konami's end, not UEFA's. So like Konami just decided not to renew.
Well, that's what it sounds like. It sounds like, oh really?
Yeah.
What makes you say that?
Well, that's what it said in the press release.
What did it say?
Well, I can't tell you word for word. I'll have to open it.
Why?
Yeah, but it's
what do you
the
mean to open
news section, James.
No, for fuck's sake, David. See, this is what really annoys me, right? You can't ask me to suddenly quote something. Like, I don't know what part of the story you're going to want me to quote, like, at any one moment.
Open.
Oh.
I'd say probably the press release would be a good
like
shout.
I've
got the press release right here, but it's just, I didn't have it open at that exact moment, did I? Okay.
So you were just filling by
Good
shouting
filling.
at me. Okay. Nice
Yeah,
filling.
again, Hugh Edwards, BBC News, who just starts shouting because of auto cues and going down. Well, in a way, who really cares about the royal baby? Okay, here it is.
Go on.
So anyway, it seems that it was Konami who, they've not continuing with this, and because the last time they did this was I think it was in 2013. They renewed the license, and then it was renewed up until like the end of this year, and now they don't seem to be doing it again, which could mean that.
Okay. So what makes you think that it's them? Let's go back to the original question.
That means I've got to read through all the stories that I read, and I can't remember which one it was that I read where it said that.
Do you know what it sounded like to me from what I read, John? It sounded like that they were outpriced. That
Right.
Suddenly the license had gone up because it was a 10-year deal last time, and obviously video games have come a long way since then. Not like a huge leap. The football games were still big 10 years ago, but I have a feeling that they want EA to buy it for a lot more money than Konami bought the last one for.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's what I think has happened. That's how I read it.
will sell more games.
No. Okay, I found the story. It is Konami that are ending this.
Okay, well, again, just give us a line.
But they're ending it, James, or they're not buying a new one.
It says here that they've announced that they're not going to buy another one. Like it's not
right. Okay,
they're
why do you think that
they're
is?
ending their 10-year partnership with the organisation. That's
why
all
do you think that is?
I don't know. I mean, I'd assume
because I've got a feeling that the price has gone up and they're not prepared to pay it because the price has gone up because they know EA would be prepared to pay it.
See, it could be that, or it could be. Do you think that maybe they're going to walk away from PES?
I don't know, mate.
Because the reason I say that is because one of the other things that happened with this is that PES this year was one of didn't sell that well. I mean, it was outsold by FIFA. Like in the first week of FIFA sales, they sold 1.1 million copies, and PES sold 50,000.
Yeah, but most of those were you, James.
It's a very cheap joke, Matt. Oh, it's very obvious.
It, Matt. I liked it.
Thanks, John.
Yeah, I was down with that.
But yeah, they sold 40
you're
times
probably
less
the
this
biggest. You're probably the biggest PES fan amongst us. Well, how does this affect you?
This part of it, don't really care. But I feel that it's on death's door as a series. I mean, FIFA's just getting stronger and stronger and stronger. I just want to know the overall sales per year, because kind of what it sells compared to FIFA doesn't really matter as long as it's still selling quite well on its own. There was a period many years ago where it outsold FIFA, but that's when FIFA was fucking awful. And, PES, ISS Pro, going back in the day it was phenomenal, and it still is phenomenal, but now FIFA is, the new FIFA is actually really good, as much as it does drive me mad, and it's just Ultimate Team's like $1 billion business on its own, so you just can't fuck with it. But if PES is hanging in there with 7 million or something like that, which I think it had been doing for the last 4 or 5 years, that's still a very good product, irrespective of what FIFA does.
It is. It's still
but Konami, Konami were basically walking away from all games, weren't they?
Yeah,
apart from PES. But then they did Metal Gear Survive. So who knows what's going on? Who knows what's going on with that company, man? They used to be my fucking boys, but yeah, things
they
have changed.
Were brilliant, weren't they? And it's like now, Metal Gear Survive, it's been kind of like critically, everyone's gone for it because it's not that great.
It's not my cup of tea. I didn't play it, but not my cup of tea.
And then the other day they said, we've got a new Castlevania coming out. Everyone was kind of like, that's great. And it's a mobile game, but it's not quite the same. So, but yeah.
I think, I've said it for a couple of years now. It feels like someone needs to come in, take the team that created PES and do something with it, because the problem with PES was not the game itself. On the pitch, it's fantastic. It's everything around it. It's the updates. It's the lack of game modes compared to FIFA.
Yeah.
It's the other shit that it was getting wrong. And if another company could come in and swoop and take that talent that created, how that game plays, and turn it into something,
you're not wrong.
Then FIFA might have
from an artistic point of view, you're totally right. But could you imagine it in a shareholders meeting or a board meeting at a company? It's like, yeah, we're going to buy PES because we want to compete with FIFA, and everyone will be like, "Fuck off!" Yeah. So,
right, but then, a company saying, "Look, I can bring in a game series that has the possibility of getting 7 million sales." That's you know what I mean? That's not small fry.
Yes,
that's still.
But what's that going to cost them to bring it in? Because it's Konami's IP, blah 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 blah. I mean, this is pointless conversation, really. But you're right. Like I say, if 2K Games, for example, took it over and managed to put the NBA 2K style presentation on that game engine, phenomenal. And they've got partners over in Japan. It's just hypothetical stuff, isn't it? You're right, but
sorry, John. It would be pretty interesting if, say,
to touch FIFA.
If Activision Blizzard decided to get into the football game, as in the football game, and or someone like Ubisoft, because obviously those haven't really done sports, have they? I mean, or certainly haven't done football. If they have, it's a long time. But obviously with someone like Activision's money, but it'll be fascinating. But yeah, I guess that's just...
I don't know, I think, especially if now, it's almost inevitable, isn't it, that EA are going to pick up this UEFA license as well, so they've got the Champions League, then they'll have the whole set, for FIFA, and... I don't know, I think going up against that would be really hard. It's scary because
it's starting to get into monopoly status, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, with lack of competition, EA can run riot with it, and when does that become a monopoly?
When you
I don't think you can...
And collect $200.
I don't think you can have a monopoly in... a game series, can you? I don't think that, yeah.
I mean, technically, but the ideas behind it are still the same. Where's the competition? There's no competition. That's obviously...
But that's not because if they bought PES and killed it, then yeah. But I think it would just be a monopoly by default, as opposed to a monopoly by, illegality.
Yeah. I'm not saying it's a legal issue. What I'm saying is that the effects of what a monopoly is will be seen.
I see what you're saying. It's almost that already, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, it's sad.
Yeah, I guess.
Either way, it's bad. It's bad for people that play games because it means they don't get pushed, like FIFA as much, which is a shame.
For real. Okay.
So the next one we got is Black Ops 4 isn't going to have a traditional single player, apparently.
Well, now
see, I would if you'd have said this a few years ago, I'd have been really upset by it because I always played the single player games. The moment they come out, I would play through them and then sell the game on as soon as I could to get my money back. But the last few haven't really I've not really bothered with them. I mean, I played World War II to the end, but even that I wasn't massively blown away by.
No, just to confirm, this is just a rumour, isn't it, at this stage?
Yeah, this is just it's a kind of a strong rumour because they said that it's focusing on multiplayer and zombies. According to the story on Polygon, they said it was an anonymous source had told them that Treyarch said that the single player campaign couldn't be completed in time for the game's release, so it seems like they're just scrubbing it instead, which is I don't know. I still think it's a bit of a shame because that was the only part of those games that I really ever really wanted to play because I don't really care about the multiplayer that much.
Yeah, but the vast amount of the audience is the other way around. Yeah. So I mean, I'm surprised in many ways it has taken so long. But it is also a shame because I get just like Dave. I used to guys games and then go for single player, enjoy it. It's like a 5-6 hour romp, and then go on to multiplayer. But I don't do either now. It's a shame, but. Who knows?
But then I suppose the way to look at it, yes, it's a shame, and yes, we're not going to get to do that anymore. But you really are upset that you won't be doing that
because I haven't been doing that for the last 2 or 3 years.
And they haven't been that good anyway, not compared with how they used to be. I mean, like Call of Duty 2 and all that kind of thing.
I think the most interesting thing is how their marketing's going to change, because despite it being predominantly, about the multiplayer and stuff, when it comes to the TV advertising and stuff like that, it's all been focused on single player.
Also, like when it's unveiled at E3, like they tend to have, they're like go for a mission, didn't they?
Yeah,
and
that they do in terms of TV advertising. They don't really. It's all that live action stuff, isn't it? The last few years, the last 7 years with the celebs.
Really?
Yeah, they get all the famous people doing crazy shit.
Yeah, of course. But then all the TV advertisements have been pure cuts from
the World War II was. You're right. Actually, they stopped doing that for World War II, and it was back to campaign footage,
showing bits of the game and stuff.
Yeah.
So, as for I mean, when you're talking about the E3 demonstrations, when they tend to try and show off multiplayer games being played, I always switch off my brain. And no, but maybe that's just me. But when you're watching like a trailer for a campaign, I sit up and take notice. When you're watching like when they showed all that Star Wars stuff at the E3 thing last year, I was like, "Whoa, I'm not watching this. Like, I'm not. I can't follow it. I don't know what's going on." It's weird.
See, I mean, I'm kind of surprised that they haven't announced like a battle royale mode instead. That they're working on that, because Battlefield 5 is getting that. Like, apparently that's going to have that, although it's not going to make it for launch, but. That's what DICE are focusing on that.
Battlefield 5, though, is a game that's used to doing big numbers in terms of people playing online.
Yeah,
all at once. It's harder to turn Call of Duty into a game. I mean,
again, I wouldn't be surprised if there is a Call of Duty battle royale game. But when this rumor about Battlefield 5 having one, I thought, that totally makes sense. But I thought, what would a Call of Duty battle royale be like? And the deaths are so short in that game, so it'll be quite hilarious to see. But I can see it working really well in a Battlefield game, and this will not be the last game we hear with a battle royale rumor, because there's
question for John. If Activision do a Call of Duty battle royale game, standalone, or do you reckon it will be tacked on as a game mode on a normal Call of Duty game?
Good question. I think probably
I think standalone.
I think maybe standalone free to play.
Standalone free, definitely,
Yeah. Fortnite style?
Yep.
Fortnite's the biggest game in the world, just copy that.
Yeah, that'd make the most sense, because, barrier to entry is lower.
Yeah.
Get the big numbers.
Yeah, and it's got the name, the breadth.
And them saying, here's a free-to-play Call of Duty, like, whoa, that's a big moment, I think, so.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Okay, alright.
Okay, so the last story I've got is this was kind of weird, because basically, like, God of War came out, and then IGN mocked Xbox for the lack of exclusives that they've got. So they did this by posting a picture on Instagram, and it's one of those like comparison screenshots, like for God of War. So on the left you've got like the game with like PS4 written on it, and on the right you had the word Xbox over a black, like just blank screen, and that was it. And then it had the caption like, "Can you spot the differences?" Between the two. So this was then deleted, and then the senior editor, like Ryan McCaffrey, like apologised on Twitter. And do you want? I've actually got the quote for this, Dave. Do you want me to read it?
Oh, go on, mate. Yeah,
okay, so he said, "I would like."
Should have said no, then, really.
No, yeah.
God.
He said, "I would like to sincerely apologise to the Xbox team, as well as the Xbox community, on behalf of the IGN editorial team." The IGN editor wrote, "The Facebook and Instagram posts were unprofessional and classless and made without my knowledge. The posts will be deleted ASAP." And then they deleted everything, and it was kind of gone. But some people took screenshots, obviously. So yeah,
right. So I really want to know John's opinion on this, because John, you've worked in games media for God knows how long, as you mentioned.
So there's a few ways of looking at this, right? The first knee-jerk reaction is that this guy is Ryan McCaffrey. I don't know anything about this guy. From that response, I'm like, this guy's fallen into the pit of nobody can be offended, nobody can make jokes, you can't possibly upset anybody. But to be fair, they may have a massive advertising deal coming up with Xbox or something like that that's going to basically pay for the next however few months of the whole fucking website and company. And then someone who does their social media has just done that, and someone in the marketing team over at Xbox has kicked off. So he's just putting out fires. So in that respect, I've seen that happen. I was the cause of one of those fires many years ago when I worked on a magazine. How that was handled was also equally shit, but I still, from a business point of view, I understand it. this is obviously just complete and utter speculation on my part. That's the only way I can, in my mind, justify this sort of response to a funny joke, a daft joke. But if we're now living in the world where you can't make a joke like that at IGN, then
yeah, I mean,
what's the point?
It's
Well, that
pretty
kind of touches on what I wanted to know. That's what, that touches on what I wanted to ask you about. How impartial should these websites be? How much should they be saying?
Just be involved.
Okay,
It's just a joke. I mean, if they that's all it is. Like when I was on a multi-format magazine for a number of years, and we'd definitely pick sides and say one team's, PlayStation's letting themselves down, or Xbox or Nintendo. We used to dog on Nintendo a lot when they were kind of in the doldrums, GameCube era, Wii era. So yeah, we had, when they announced the Wii, we put the cover line, "Is Nintendo taking the piss?" Because it was a weird name at the time. We're used to that name now. On the front cover of the magazine, they went on store shelves. Like, fuck them. Fuck it. It's just a joke.
Is there not a fear then of turning into, like, being seen as sort of like a fanboy?
No, what is that? I mean, we didn't think that was a fanboy thing to do on the front of a magazine. It's a joke.
But also, why can't...
I'm playing devil's advocate more than anything else. I've got
I
opinion on it
disagree
either
with
way. But
you, the devil.
my devil.
Yeah, I mean, why can't like one of these websites? Why can't they just come out and say what they think about something? Because that's what they're doing here. Like, they're saying that obviously, they don't think that Xbox has got that many exclusives. Why can't they say that?
They're not even saying that. I mean, that you can even that takes a step for them to say that. Like, I mean, what they're essentially saying is God of War isn't on the Xbox. Like that's it.
Yeah, but they're also saying the Xbox is really lacking exclusives at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
the more I look I'm looking at the image now, the more I look at it, the more I actually think it's actually a really beautiful little joke about the state of the two consoles and the exclusive situation at the moment. And I'm more and more annoyed at this guy, the senior editor of IGN's response, because tasteless and classless. Was he right?
Yeah,
unprofessional and classless, mate. That's funny.
Yeah,
that's a funny joke. It's not the most hilarious thing I've ever seen in my life. Don't get me wrong, but that's a funny joke. If they kept doing it for weeks about everything and just laid into the Xbox for weeks, then you'd be like, this is getting a bit weird now, guys. But it's a single gag. That's all it is. A single gag. It lasts a day and then disappears.
John, do you know what's less classy than posting that up?
Mugging off your editorial team in public?
Yeah, well, there's that. And also being a huge company asking them to take it down. Like that to me shows less class. For Microsoft to go...
No, Microsoft didn't do that.
Microsoft didn't do that.
No.
Whoa, slow down. So, maybe I misread this then. Because I thought Microsoft contacted them and told them to take it down and apologise.
No. It was IGN came out and apologised to Microsoft, and then said that they would take it down. It wasn't the other way around.
The fuck? That's weird.
And then, but here it says, Aaron Greenberg, Microsoft's head of marketing, replied to McCaffrey's tweet saying he appreciates the note and follow up from the editor. Thanks, Ryan. Appreciate the note and follow up. I'll just repeat myself. He says, thanks, Ryan. Appreciate the note and follow up. Have you got no sense of humour, dickhead? I bet. What's going on here?
But
this
also,
is everybody what's happening to the world?
It also just feels it's that kind of how close are these massive sites to these companies.
Exactly.
In the sense of,
it's a fucking gag.
Yeah.
The thing is though, James, they have to be close to companies, and when you're working with people, the way that these companies are, sometimes that relationship becomes personal.
It's true,
because that's humanity.
But IGN's always been, and in our opinion, it's always been a bit too close. We've always had suspicions, and I'm not. It's different now, and I'm not really involved in editorial in the way that I was. But as bad as it was at the company that I used to work for, as horrendous as the MD was of that company, and I don't have to work with that guy ever again, so I can say what I want about him. He would still have gone to bat for that joke, as much of a cunt as that man was, and he would have still gone to bat for that joke. What I did that I got myself into trouble for was commissioned a 800-word column about how awful Activision were and put it in a magazine. I still think I stood by it, but that's why I got called into that MD's office and hauled over the coals for an hour and a half, and he threatened to punch me. But don't worry about that. But this is a gag. It's a gag. Fuck 'em. That's what I say.
Yeah, I don't know. I agree with you. I think it's ridiculous.
That's me not getting any free lunch Friday, gent.
No, I do. I agree with you. I think. Oh my god! When I saw the headline, you were saying, "Oh, what about IGN having to apologise for that tweet?" I was like, "Oh my god! It's going to be something horrendously offensive that they obviously didn't know was going to be offensive, but it's been taken the wrong way, or they were just really thick or whatever." And then when I read the story, I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" That tweet, that was the one that got taken down, and they apologised for that. That's insane. That's nuts.
Any self-respecting Xbox fan should laugh at that.
Yeah, totally.
Fucking hell. What's going on? Listen, 16-year-old idiots who don't know how to behave, fine, whatever. Fuck them. But senior editors? Jesus Christ.
All right, okay. I think we're done with that one. Are we done?
Probably.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, it's embarrassing.
Okay. Right, okay. Well, then there's only one game to really talk about this week. And I suppose what I've said, there's a few other games listed. I'm playing another game at the moment, but I'm kind of think we should just focus because we've all been playing God of War this week. All of us got it on Friday, I think, so we're still quite early on. But just to start off with, John, have you got a history with this series?
Damn right I've got a history with this series, boy. I fucking love this series.
Can I ask you some questions then?
Mate, go ahead.
So, there's been a bunch of God of War games, right? There's been quite a few.
Yeah, I mean, there's been 3, then there was Ascension on PS3 as well, and then there was 2 PSP games, but let's just think of it as the trilogy.
And see, I've played, I think it was either Ascension or one of the Vita games that came to PS3. I can't remember the title of it. Whatever.
Yeah, so you've had a worse time than you should have for this series then.
No, I didn't dislike it at all.
No, they're good games, but
I didn't dislike my time with it.
The main 3 are fucking next level.
And it felt like it was a sort of a not a button basher, but those a Bayonetta type game where you're just running along.
There's much more depth to the combat than some people seem to give the games credit for, and anybody who really knows God of War knows there's a lot of depth to that combat. It's not quite as much as a DMC or a Bayonetta, but people who just there's people I'm hearing people recently just like saying they're just like you say, proper button bashers, like Dynasty War, fuck off.
So maybe that's a good place to start, the combat itself, because compared to the combat that I played before, it's a lot more methodical. There's a lot more going on that you have to think about. And my initial fears were, again, this is based on about 4 or 5 hours of play. My initial fears were that the camera was too close, because you couldn't really see what was going on around you. You didn't really know what was going on or whatever. And one thing that I have noticed about this game is that it really starts off maybe a little bit too stripped back. It's not criticism as such, because I want to see where it goes from here. But when you start, I'm like, if I was to go back and play that first hour again, it would feel crazy, because you can't do any of the stuff that I'm doing on a regular basis when I'm fighting in that game now. You start off basically with your axe and your shield, and that's it. No powers or anything. And when I think back, I think, oh my god, I don't even know how I killed those people at the start, because I'm doing it feels like I'm doing things with the pad that weren't even a possibility.
Very restrictive start. Almost deliberately, it feels like a deliberate. To really strike home how much of a contrast it's going to feel to what players of the series are used to. That's kind of how I feel. Maybe that they went for it, because you're totally right. Those first few hours are unusually restrictive. Obviously, there's a change in perspective and a change in style. I would say the combat certainly has elements of what it used to have, but it's like for the parry mechanic, for example, is the same. But it's obviously clearly influenced by Dark Souls. I know you can't say that anymore because people get annoyed, but it's like when you move your combat to R1 and R2, put the camera behind the shoulder, and
you're gonna have the comparisons.
Start putting health bars up and making enemies hit that hard, then I think those comparisons are pretty fair, and I think it's a deliberate choice. But there's still elements of the old game's combat in there for sure.
Well, the further that I played, the more I started appreciating the sort of hard-hitting nature of all the enemies and yourself. Because one thing that Dark Souls hasn't got is that when you're fighting an enemy in that game, you never feel quite as powerful as what you're fighting. I mean, you defeat them through learning movesets and taking them down or whatever. But when they're hitting you, you're flying back, your shield's going up, and you're like, holy fuck, he really thumped me there. When you're swinging your sword about, it sort of just goes through them. I mean, that's not strictly true. You know, you can knock people out with animations and stuff like that, but you don't feel like you're massively in God of War, when you hit someone, you feel it. Like you feel it in your fist. Like it's just the thumping that goes on during those battles. It feels. I've found that some of the battles that I've had against groups of normal enemies have given me the same feeling that I got when fighting like a big boss in Bloodborne. You know, it's like Bloodborne boss.
Yeah.
You're holding your shield up, and then the first time, right? So the first major fight in that game is against a character called the Stranger. And that sort of kicks off the plot, really, and sets you on your way out of the initial tutorial area. And I was blown away by it, not only how technical the fight felt, how on your like on the edge of your seat you have to be to make sure that you block at the right times and you fight back at the right times, you know, and how much concentration it requires for you to get through, but also just how cinematic it was, not through cutscenes, but I mean the slow motions of everything you're doing when you set off a power, how the screen sort of the camera moves, the way that everything goes, like. Just, it felt incredible, like absolutely incredible. And by the time I was done with that bit, I you know, this word gets way overused, but it felt like an epic battle between two guys that were trying to kick the shit out of each other.
That fight actually reminded me of the older games more and more, like the slow motion when you hit the parry, the slow motion, and the way it shifts just generally shifts the time when you activate things, the way it moves between sort of cinematic and regular combat. These are hallmarks of what made the combat in the original game so memorable and so spectacular. And that just felt like that taken to a completely different level. That battle with the Stranger early on, really, from a technical point of view, I mean, God, that's like other game developers must just be looking at and just losing their minds.
Yeah, God, yeah. I mean, the fact that it combines the sort of short cutscenes with what's going on around you, and it does that constantly. I mean, there are certain animation beats that the game needs to hit in order for to tell a story, right? It's got it. You know, you're battling away, and something will happen during that battle that you need to see. The way it does it so seamlessly is incredible. You know, when the sort of the easiest example of this is so you're fighting the Stranger outside of your house, and there's a bit where you go up onto the roof, and it just felt completely natural to what was going on. The way it switched from gameplay of the combat to suddenly this cutscene where things are going on the roof of that thing. It was so seamless.
Well, there's no cuts. I just thought, the whole game. That's their picture of the whole game, literally from beginning to end.
Yeah, but how did they do that?
Fuck.
Like, that's what I'm saying. It's like that is so important. I know the no cuts thing it initially to me sounded like a gimmick, but when you consider how quickly you go from a bit that you're controlling to a story bit that's being like sort of shoehorned into the middle of this battle, it's completely seamlessly, is incredible.
Yeah.
And it makes you not like when you play combat games like this and then it fades to black for a second and then a cutscene loads, my interest drops slightly. You know, not necessarily to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm not even looking at the screen anymore, but your interest does drop slightly. When it's in amongst it all, the way this game does, you're constantly watching everything that's going on. You're totally invested in it. And that's really important to this game. It's really important to this game. And you know, sometimes you play games late into the night and you're looking for moments to turn it off. But the way this game just continues with this pace, this steady flow of drip feeding story, drip feeding character development along with the gameplay without any sort of like taking you away from that. It becomes an impossible task to decide when to turn it off.
100%. So how far have you got roughly?
I am
without obviously wanting
so
to give anything
I'm going
away.
between realms. I'm going between realms.
I'm pretty much, that sounds like I'm in the exact same place that you are.
So you mentioned an epic battle, one of the most epic battles, like
it was just a great
Twitter
fight with a sub boss. That's all. I just upped the difficulty.
Was it the gorilla type thing?
No, it was before that, I think. Or I don't actually know what it was. It was just another one. You know that first big enemy that you fight with the big stone thing?
Oh god, yeah, but didn't you find that's the second time you fought one of those enemies though, right?
Yeah, you fight him again, but he's got like a fiery one. But I just because I put the difficulty back up. But when I was playing it before, I had the difficulty up to challenge mode, and I was just getting my ass kicked. And I was like, this isn't fun. I'm going to put it down. And then when I was playing on normal, I was just like, I haven't died. Like before, I was dying, and then I was like, well, I haven't died since for the next 2 hours. It was like kind of somewhere in between, and then started to put out a tweet, and people were like, you should probably try it back up because you unlock new abilities, blah blah blah. So I was like, fuck it, I'll try it. I got my ass kicked a bit, but then started to really concentrate, started to use, because you have your kid with you the whole time, and he's actually becomes integral to the combat because you can get him to fire arrows at enemies automatically by just pressing square, and he'll distract them and stuff. So he becomes like a part of your combos. It's actually really elegantly done. And then I started, learning that using all the powers that I had, and it was just it's basically a sub-boss fight. It's nothing hugely special in terms of its spectacle, but it was just an amazing, amazing fight. Reminded me of a Dark Souls fight, but with way more like kinetic energy. And also it's Kratos, and I fucking love Kratos. He's a different Kratos, but I'm still digging him. I'm still vibing with him, so that's okay. But yeah, I'm at the exact same point as you are pretty much, and you can feel the game is opening and opening and opening. New systems are being brought in, and whereas the first few hours are just kind of a corridor, a beautiful corridor with cool stuff happening, now it feels like, okay, here's the game. It's quite different to the other God of War games, which were much more character action, like you'd expect a Bayonetta DMC type, moving you from set piece to set piece, action sequence to action sequence. Here we've got skill trees, we've got loot, we've got side quests, we've got all sorts of interesting things. There's definitely so many more RPG elements to it, so I'm loving it so far. I'm not sure, I'm so early, but it feels like so early. I don't think I can ever get involved with Norse mythology as I do with Greek mythology, but I can't remember if I talked about this on this podcast before, but certainly I've talked about it on my old one and times. Like I've always loved Greek mythology. I had like a book of the Zodiac when I was a kid and had all the stories in it, and then like Jason and the Argonauts, all of that I loved when I was a kid, Clash of the Titans, all of that sort of stuff. And then even in school, I hate school, but we did classics in my school, and that was all the old school Greek mythology stories, and I dug all of that. So I've always loved all that stuff. So that's what, like, when I played God of War, I didn't even realize it was about that. I just thought it was some game with a name like any other name from any other game, and then suddenly I realized it was about that, and I just fucking loved it. So moving that to Norse mythology with Baldur and Thor and all this sort of stuff, it's cool. But so far, it's like every time any character was mentioned in the God of War trilogy, I already knew who they were, their story, all that sort of stuff, just because I'm so into that. And now it's like that really dark elves and Niflheim and shit. It's cool, but it's just not on the same level. But a long way to go.
Okay, while we're naturally moving on to the story, I've got to say, some of the characters in this game I'm in love with already. Like the writing in it is superb. The acting, I'm really enjoying. I know you had trouble with
I've
one
loved
of the
it all, but I
characters.
just did The Witch. I was like, I needed someone to come and tell me, no, she's speaking in this really robotic way, like she's reading off a list, because she's playing like a weird witch. And I'm like, I kept trying to tell myself that. That's probably why her performance is so wooden. But it just really felt, it was really standing out, because like Kratos was good, the kid's really good, which is a surprise. The characters that I know that you love, and I'll let you say which ones that you love.
Brock.
Yeah.
Brock is my boy.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to go down as one of my favourite store guys in any video game, you know, up there with Resident Evil 4, what you buy and what you're selling guy.
Yeah.
when I first moved over to try and upgrade my son's like bow or whatever, and he turned around and went, "Well, what do you want, you little shit?" I was like, that is fucking hilarious. That's just funny. I wasn't expecting it to come out of nowhere. It made me laugh. And then I met his brother, and his brother's like a completely different type of character, but still equally as funny.
Yeah, his brother's good.
You know, there'll be people saying, "Oh God, comic relief just dripped in," but it felt like it needed it at the time. It was the first character that you could see that wasn't bogged down in this absolutely horrific world with these horrible stories. I mean, the fucking story so far has just been about taking your mum's ashes up to a mountain.
Yeah.
Like, it's been horrible. Like, it's dealt with some really horrible issues. And then all of a sudden there's this blue, like, elf that speaks like my dad in there. It's just brilliant. Like,
Dwarf.
Dwarf, whatever. I don't know the difference, do I? It's me. But yeah, it's just like the stuff that's going on with those two characters I absolutely love, and I'm sure we're going to see lots more of them. And yeah, the story, I'm not into any of this stuff. Like, and I haven't really dipped into it on that level in terms of mythology with the story so far at all. However, the actual basic narrative of what they're doing and why they're doing it is so simple that even a div like me can just like keep up with it and really enjoy it. I mean, it goes a bit crazy every now and then, but you just allow it to do that. And so far, man, I am totally on board with that stuff. I can't wait to see where it's going to go with not only the relationship between Kratos and his son, which is obviously a huge part of this game. The way he talks to his son, the way he treats him and stuff like that is touched upon often. And I can't wait to see where that goes, like what they're going to do with it. I think we've all got a fair idea of what's going to happen, but maybe we'll be wrong. No one knows yet amongst this group.
Yeah,
anyway,
it's clear it's going to be a very emotional story. I mean, it's already very, very, very touching, and the relationship they've got is really well written so far. And as you said, John, like the kid isn't annoying. I'm only about 3.5, maybe 4 hours in.
Where are you up to? Have you met the witch yet?
It's been mentioned. I've gone past Brock. I've done that the huge boss of the flaming log, and a little bit after that, I can't remember. But
you've not met the witch?
No, I don't think I have. I mean, I think it's been mentioned
because even like John, that bit when you meet her, it's not even about her really. The scenery, the environment she's in is just stunning. Like, honestly, like. It's all fantasy stuff, which I'm not usually on board with. But when I walked into that area,
it's not fantasy
I know
in that Tolkien way. It's that's what I loved about this series forever. It's drawn from not real stuff because it's obviously not real, but it's drawn from real stories, like actual stories and actual characters that have been written in time and drawn from these, true classics. And that this is the same as that, but I just don't know them.
But what I'm saying is that taking all that stuff out of it, I mean, I'm walking up to a witch or whatever. I'm kind of like, oh, come on. But then you see where she lives, and you're like, holy fuck! This is just the imagination pouring out of the screen at the moment is just intense. Like it just visually, it may not be one of I've seen people saying this is the best looking game I've ever seen. I wouldn't say in terms of just flat out visuals, but the imagination that's involved, like bringing that stuff to life, is done so well that it completely that whole area completely blew me away. And now that I'm visiting new realms or whatever, and walking out into new sceneries and stuff, I'm like, whoa, shit, they have nailed every single environment in this place.
I would say graphically, I would say this probably is stronger than Horizon, so for me it probably is up there with the best graphics on the system. I'm playing on PS4 Pro. Yeah, it looks stunning.
All right, show off.
Just compare.
Drop that in there.
Well, no, so what games do you feel are better than this?
I think I would probably put Horizon above it. Yeah, it's hard to say, man, because visuals is there.
It looks stunning, isn't it? I mean, it is breathtaking.
Far Cry probably looks a little bit better in places, especially like foliage and stuff. Yeah, totally.
Bah.
When you're walking through the forest and the sun's coming through all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, it's a good looking game, but
yes. Right, okay, James, you've not said much. But how far into it are you?
I've just met the Serpent Knight area. That's where I've got to.
Yeah. So what have you made of it so far?
It's a very solid 6 out of 10. I'm joking. Obviously, I don't mean that. But
good gag.
It's I should have left it hanging for a bit longer, but I didn't. Anyway,
I saw that in the edit.
Said it.
Did you? Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a good idea, Matt. Try that. Yeah, I mean, I'm not that far in either. I mean, how much further am I in than how close am I to where you are, Dave?
If Dave's at the same place as me, I'd say about 90 minutes. Yeah, 90 minutes, 2 hours.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I don't really feel like I've played it for that long, but I mean, I can only just really echo what you've been saying because it does look obviously absolutely stunning, and I think the pacing is fantastic. But it's the relationship with the son that I just think is really well presented in this, because there's so many bits that there's been so far where I could just feel that it's the same sort of experience you have of, like, you know how he just like keeps talking and you're like, you know, just stop talking now. That kind of stuff, which, you know, you get that sometimes with kids.
I can't say I relate to that, though.
Really not?
No, I don't think I could just reduce my son's name to Boy.
I've been trying it this weekend. I've just been like going, boy, instead. But no,
How's he responded to that, James?
Say again?
How's he responded to that?
He's been all right about it. You know, he can adapt.
We'll see what the psychiatrist thinks.
He can adapt pretty well. But no, especially the stuff where the son is trying to sort of try and prove his worth and everything, and try and show that he has value. But then it's really not quite enough yet. And I mean, obviously, like, Kratos' reactions are like too far the other way of being like not encouraging at all. But it's still, you know, you can sort of sense the relationship. It's really, really well developed. But also the pacing is great. But the only thing that I've not it's not that I haven't liked about it, but maybe it's just because I haven't unlocked enough stuff yet, is I'm not sure about the combat, because I think I was expecting it to be a bit more like I haven't played any of these games before. Like, I've never played a God of War game before, and I was expecting a bit more sort of fluidity. Like, I was expecting it to be a bit more kind of like a Platinum, like, sort of Bayonetta kind of experience. You know, where it's like very, very sort of fluid motion. It's like you're quickly moving from one thing to another, and it's not like that at all. I mean, it's obviously a lot heavier, and like you said at the beginning of the game, you don't really have like much of a moveset either, or like really things you can do. Although that does seem to be expanding now. But I mean, does it? I mean, you're 90 minutes on from me. Does it expand further from that?
Yes, massively.
Oh God, yes.
Massively.
God, yes.
Yeah, it seems like it's going to get even more and more and more.
It's like a different game.
Yeah.
Like, it's genuinely like a different game already. I think I didn't start loving the combat until the gorilla type enemy fight. Because I was enjoying it, but I wasn't using all of the abilities that I had to hand. And that's an essential part of the combat in this. When you get to a fight where it forces you to use all the means that you've got to, you know, like where you're throwing the axe when you're at a distance. Like, instead of just rushing in and fighting, like I was doing right at the start of this game, because that's what I thought I was supposed to do. Later on, I was standing back, throwing my axe, using my son's arrows to distract, so I've got a little bit of time to attack or distract. Like, if once they start blocking and stuff, it's kind of like just flailing your axe about. It's not going to do the job. Once I started getting that sort of force push thing, or the ground slam where you turn everything to ice and stuff like that, it suddenly becomes, okay, I've got 5 or 6 different options of attack and a couple of options to defend. What should I be using in this situation? And then once that starts clicking, it feels utterly incredible. Like, there's enemies that you'll meet soon. It's not a spoiler or anything, because they're just like standard enemies, but they have an attack where they jump up and they swipe down on top of your head. And when they were first doing that, I was hiding behind my shield. But then soon enough, I realised that if I ground pound at that time, I can completely mash them up, like, once they're frozen. And it had this moment where all of a sudden, whenever I saw them going for a jump, I'd do this ground pound thing, and everything went into slow motion. It was as if the game was going, you're doing it right now. You know what I mean? This is what it's supposed to look like. And when it does do that, it feels honestly, man, I was like, whoa, that looks cool, and it feels amazing to pull off.
See, I mean, and that was the problem I had when I was, you know, like the fight with the stranger, like quite early at the beginning. I just felt kind of like this is kind of repetitive and not. I mean, not that it's not fun, because you still get like the real feeling of like heft from the fight, but it still didn't feel like very fluid or very
it opens up a crazy amount. I think also, having played the older games, the way that you dodge and parry is pretty much the same. It's not the same because you still on the right stick, but it's very similar. And so I was using that pretty much straight away. So I started to feel a bit more fluid with the combat straight away. And then it's just opening up. And also the way you use the kid as well is crucial. I think definitely on the harder difficulties. But
so
yeah,
James, because that's what I was going to ask. Were you using parry a lot for that fight?
That's what I wanted to ask you, because I think I was doing that. And you know when it does like those sort of like yellow sort of circles that kind of appear? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
What are you supposed to do at that point? Is that because I tried to attack or whatever, but it doesn't do it? Like nothing happens.
That I'm not 100% sure on. Yeah, I know that the red one means that it's an unblockable attack.
Yeah.
So you've literally got to use your dodge roll to get out of those. The yellow ones, I think that means you can parry. However, I can parry non-yellow attacks as well. So I'm not entirely sure. It feels like I should have read something.
I'm not entirely sure either.
Okay.
On that one,
no. But at the moment I'm just using my parry a hell of a lot for all sorts of moves, not just the orange attack.
In terms of difficulty, so when I first started this, I started on easy, and then it was a little bit too easy. Then I put it up to the next one, which isn't challenge, but it's the second one of the four.
Yeah, give me a balance.
And then I was fine until there was one part where I was getting smashed. I think it's suddenly you have like it's the first real instance you have like 7 or 8 enemies going for you at once in this sort of quarry area. So I knocked it down.
Oh yeah, that's
I knocked it down, and then again it was just too easy. And I kept obviously seeing tweets from John saying, it's much more satisfying if you have it on a harder difficulty. But so I've been like moving right now. I've played it much
Use
more.
The kid.
Yeah, I'm using it more time, but I'm right now. I'm on the second difficulty. Challenge I tried for 5 minutes, and it's way too much. But I can see how satisfying that would be if you could master it that way. But yeah, for now I'm on the second difficulty, but I'm happy you can.
As long as it's a challenge to you, I think that's all that matters.
I'm happy you can change it on the fly,
whatever that is. Yeah, I do think it is different. Like I said, as different as the combat is from the older games, I do think knowing those games, it definitely has some advantages in just the flow of it. There's definitely still elements in there. So I can't decide. I'll only ever be able to make this decision after I finish this whole game. I don't know whether or not I'm liking this new Kratos more, or I'm still I'm missing my old Kratos. And that was always my concern. A lot of people, I was listening to Giant Bomb earlier, and they were laughing, he's always so angry. Put a tweet out about this earlier today. So yeah, he was fucking angry. Do you know why he was angry? One, the reason that the game exists and what he is a fucking archetype. He's an expression. He is anger. That's what Kratos was. It's not like, he's a character that's deep and nuanced or anything. He is an expression of anger from everything about him, from the way he looks, from the way he fights. It's just a whirling dervish of rage. That's what the whole game is. It's beautiful. It's an expression. But beyond that, also from a narrative point of view, this was someone who was betrayed by the god of war, Ares, after 10 years in his servitude, doing all sorts of manner of shit, to go into his own house, was blinded, didn't know what was going on, and murdered his own wife and child because he was tricked by Ares. And not only did he do that, but he was permanently stained white with the ashes of his dead family. So yeah, he's pretty fucking angry, and I think he's justified in being angry. So that whole... people just wind me up, man. That whole conversation is just based around people not even bothering to play the games or not even bothering to understand them. And that's just
one of those. It's one of those. You do. People do that with computer games, don't they? It's that whole. Hey, what about it? Who cuts boys' hair? Come on, guys. Who's his barber? That sort of horse shit. But. John, so what is the major differences between the character then and now?
Now he's much more of a person, definitely. He's still Kratos. Like he's still they've not softened him too much, which is good. And it's the director of the second game, which is the best of the three. Anyway, so I wasn't expecting them to do too much damage. Still he's just much more human, but still that edge, like the way he talks to the kid early on, I really like. It's very much how he'd be if he was more humanized than. But in the original 3 games, he's not do you know what I mean by that? He's not like a person in a movie. He's an archetype. It's an expression. He does talk. He does have a story. There is a plot. It's good as well. It's really good storytelling and good fun. Kind of Greek tragedy, which is kind of what it is. But at the same time, like he's not people who just say he's one note, and so that's the fucking point, moron. That's the fucking point of him. If that's why he's good, idiot. Ah, people, man. People who like in their 40s are game critics and they're just dumb shit.
But how do you think they've handled his transition to? Because obviously one of the things was like he's a dad now. How do you think they're handling that? Is that
as well as they could? I think, and like I won't be able to give my full answers to this until I finish it.
No.
It's as simple as that. But like I said, Corey Barlog, man, he directed God of War 2. God of War 2 is a fucking masterpiece. So he knows what to do. So far, I think they've done a brilliant job, but there's still a part of me that just wants that old. He wants that I want the one note Kratos, the pure expression of anger and rage in video game form, justifiable anger and rage. But we'll see.
We'll see. So what? I mean, James, you were saying what you thought of the game. We were talking about difficulty settings and stuff like that, because I think that's interesting as well. When I first started playing the game, I started on balanced experience or whatever it's called, and then I got to a battle where I died like 3 times, and I was like, oh no, I don't want to just waste my time dying and stuff. I'm going to knock it down to easy. And the jump between easy and normal is so huge that it, like, even I was going, I'm clearly not enjoying this as much as I was before. You know, I'm smashing through enemies and fine. It's weird. You just hit them once and they're down to like half health. And I was thinking, I'm not going to rush through this. I'm going to appreciate the combat, and I can't ever see myself knocking it up to hardened or whatever it is. But the moment I knocked it back up to normal, which in fairness was like after one battle, I instantly started appreciating it more. And I think it's such an important part of that game. It's easy to see how much story is in that first like 3 or 4 hours and think, I'm quite happy with the story actually, and just getting through it. You know, fuck the combat. Let's just get through it and see everything it's got to show you. But I'm finding that the combat is so satisfying that to rob yourself of that would just, I mean, do what you want to do. If you've knocked it down to easy and you're listening to this, I mean, if you're enjoying it that way, then fair play to you. But I felt like as I was playing it, you know, the day after I first started playing it on normal, the next day I was thinking about the battles that I was having. Whereas once I'd knocked it down, the day after I was like, that was instantly forgettable. And I think, you know, I didn't want to get rid of that. I wanted to go back to thinking about every fight.
Yeah, on the times I've done it on easy, it's just you just button mash, don't you? You just whiz through it. But I mean, even just the difference between the bottom 2 difficulties already feels a lot more strategic in the way you tackle.
It's a huge gap, isn't
in
it?
the way you tackle enemies and groups of enemies, and going for certain ones over others, and how you deflect shots and parry and whatnot. But yeah, I would love to get better and progress and do like the harder ones, because I think it'd be much more satisfying. But I'm happy currently where I am on the second to bottom difficulty.
James, you were going to say something?
Yeah, I mean, that bit that Matt was mentioning, I think I know which bit you mean. It's where there's like a big sort of rock fall that then, like, one of the enemies like bursts through it, and then another one appears like a bit later on, and then loads of them come. And that one, that took me a couple of attempts to like get through. I mean, I'm playing it on the balanced mode, and it was a bit annoying, but then that was when I began to feel like, I need to learn actually how to handle this. Like, I need to learn how to handle these different enemy types that are coming at the same time. And once I actually did it, I did feel more achievement from that. And I think it is worth persevering at least on that difficulty.
I mean, that sounds like an easy thing to say, but it's not an easy thing to pull off.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, it's easy to say, because it's harder, I'm getting more satisfaction out of it. It's not that. It's not that it's more harder. It's that the combat allows you. I mean, it as I said, it feels like you've got to use everything the game has to get through the battles, and that's what makes it satisfying.
Yeah.
It's not that you're having to hit them more times to take him out. It's that you've got to use more of what the game gives you, more of the mechanics, more of the upgrades, the perks, all of that stuff. You've got to use all that to get through, rather than just just it being a bit harder, like the enemy's health going up. But yeah, man, it's a game we're obviously going to have to talk more about because we all feel. I mean, it's crazy, isn't it? It feels like I've put a lot of time into this since Friday. Yet it still feels like I barely scratched the surface.
Yeah.
It feels like there's a lot there, and from what I've read, the game just continues to open up, like throughout the whole, 20 to 30 hours or whatever it is.
Yeah, but apparently if you mainline it, it's like 15 to 20, but from what I've read, it's a lot of the magic is in side missions and other secondary sort of elements of the game, so yeah, I'm excited to delve in.
And we're not even at the side missions bit yet, not properly. Like, it feels like I haven't been able to go off the path yet. I'm sure that's coming just around the corner by the sounds of it. John's just touching on that. But there's not been side missions for me yet. So it's kind of like that, even that concept sounds mad. But goddamn, if this is as good as not only it feels like it's going to be, but how people, like what people have written about it, I can't believe they've knocked out another fucking incredible game. Like, I can't believe there's just another incredible game released by, like, another incredible exclusive. It's insane. The games they've got under their belt now, Sony, it's crazy. And then when you compare it to Microsoft,
yeah, but
it makes that whole outrage about that tweet seem even more ridiculous.
But this is because Sony have always had like more studios, haven't they? And they've like actually bothered to like.
Yeah, but they've not always had the better exclusives.
I know, but they've had a longer period. Like this time, they've like let things sort of go for like longer periods of time. Until we got things like this coming out. Whereas like Microsoft, it really felt like in this generation anyway, at the beginning of it, that they were kind of a bit impatient with all this, and they were just like shutting stuff down. Studios got shut down before they'd done.
Well, I think it's slightly different. I think that the difference is that they haven't rested on what that, and they couldn't rest on what they brought out on the PS3. They couldn't do that. So it feels like they've had to up their game big time to get.
I don't know, because I think towards the end of the PS3 life, that's when they began to sort of really hit their stride with this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, that's when Last of Us come out and, games like that. But I'm talking, you look at what Microsoft had for the 360. You look at Halo and Gears of War and stuff like that. It was all great. And then when the new games come out on this system, it felt like it hadn't progressed that much. I mean, you look at the last Gears of War compared to this one and you see the leap. Then when you look at the last Halo and then look at this one and, where's that leap?
I think it's partly also because Microsoft really didn't seem... They only have... They bet on the wrong things, basically. Like, they bet on just thinking, okay, all we need more Halo, more Gears, more Forza. And then if you've got those three things or whatever,
but that is all they need.
Well, no,
that is all they need
is it?
If they're willing to progress that, if they're willing to take the chance and push those titles forward.
But they didn't, though, did they?
Yeah, I mean,
the thing. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. That's my point. My point is that Sony have clearly done that, and Microsoft haven't.
But they've also come out, like Sony have come out with new stuff, like Horizon Zero Dawn. Is an example of that, of there being like new things that have appeared.
Yeah, of course, and they've got Bloodborne, which is still deep rooted in the Dark Souls world, but of course that's a From Software game, but it's still an exclusive to the PlayStation. It's crazy. I think it's exciting because Sony pumping out games like this, I'm very happy to lap them up and play them. I'm in a fortunate position where I've got both Xbox and PlayStation, but my word, I mean, yeah, I do, and I can't fully fall in love with this game yet because it feels like I'm so early on, and what I've played I've enjoyed, but can it keep it up? Everything is pointing to yes, it can, but I need to experience it myself before I lose my shit. Because if this is as good as it feels like it's going to be, then well, Jesus, what a game!
Yeah,
I
it's
can't
very
wait.
exciting. I mean, I haven't played the previous God of War game, but yeah, just carrying on for what you said. I mean, if this continues, this feels like even what played so far feels like an essential purchase if you've got a PS4, regardless of whether you played previous games or not. It's
how have you three never played the God of War trilogy?
Just never bothered.
I mean, I know how, but like, None of you.
Well, when did
You
they
missed
come out?
out.
What
Well,
was did it start on the PS2?
When it came out on PS2, that was when I lost my PS2 at that point, and that's just before it came out, and that was actually going to be the next.
That's a good reason.
Yeah, I remember seeing the reviews.
See, with the PS2, it was like there was like 3 games that I would play on it constantly. It was Time Splitters, GTA,
Pez.
and Pez. You know, that was pretty much it. Then when my 360 came out, I guess that was what I didn't. Well, I must have played more of a variety of types of games and stuff on that. It was more for multiplayer stuff. My PS2, it was more for getting my mates around and playing.
It's just a shame that all of you missed out on them.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it sucks, but here we are now. That's a testament in itself that they've managed to get 3 people that have played games all their lives but never played a Gears of War game suddenly excited.
God of War.
Sorry, God of War. Oh man, that's killed me as well. Can people stop calling it GOW? Because my Xbox brain goes, well, that's Gears of War. But no, like we've never played one of these games before, and then suddenly we're not only playing this series for the first time, but we're really excited about it. It's it shows how far that. See, it shows what good work they're doing at the moment.
I would like to go back to the others and see kind of how they are, but it seems that the only way I can do it because of like having a PS4 is through PlayStation Now, isn't it? And I don't think that'd be a good way, would it?
Yeah, I mean, you might
3
have
is
someone
you
Vita.
get the remaster of 3.
Yeah, I bet you've got some on PS Plus as well. You might be able to play on your Vita.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you can play the first 2 on the Vita.
But sometimes Vita conversion stuff's really bad. Like the Jak and Daxter games are terrible on Vita. They did a really bad job with them. They're awful, which is a shame.
But yeah, good game.
Did they do? Yeah, I don't know about 1 and 2. Yeah, I don't know about 1 and 2. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. But 3 there's a PS4 remaster, which
I know,
looks incredible.
I know they're on PlayStation Now, but again, it's like this kind of thing where it's like button inputs matter a lot.
Yeah,
I can't imagine it'd be that great playing it over that.
Probably not.
Speaking of which, are you guys playing on resolution mode or performance mode?
Yeah, I was going to ask you that because what
resolution?
Yeah, but I mean, obviously, the other one's at 1080p. I presume. I mean, is it 4K 60 or is it 4K 30 and 1080p 60?
1080p 40 and 2160p checkerboard 30.
Oh, okay, cool. I wasn't sure. Like, actually, if I knocked it down, it'd be better for the game. But I mean, I wanted to see.
Why? If you think it's been sluggish?
No, not at all. But I just wanted to show. I wasn't sure if, like, by knocking down to 1080p, would that drastically improve the the frame rate? But
yeah, it feels beautifully optimized for 30 frames. It doesn't feel like it is any concern.
A couple of places where it's been a bit like it's chugged a little bit, but not like to the point where you feel, oh, this is awful or anything. It's still fine.
I'll be flat out and honest and say that I haven't even noticed a single.
I've not myself either.
There was one moment where it dropped, but that was because my internet fucked up. So it was obviously dealing with some stuff in the background as well. But yeah, no, I've not felt a frame drop yet. Not to any major extent. Yeah, cool. Good game so far. To be continued, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be playing a lot of that this week. I've been genuinely excited about booting it up when I get home from work. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. Right, we were kind of just going to focus on that unless anything. I looked at the list of what people put down, and it was looking at Matt's. It was like Dark Souls and what was it? Fortnite again. So it's like we can't really go over that stuff. I don't think I'm allowed to talk about the other game that I'm playing, which is ridiculous because it's been out for about 3 years. But that's the way it works. Did anyone else have a game that they desperately wanted to talk about?
I've got a couple of things, but I'm not anywhere near. I mean, I've got Fahrenheit, which I've started streaming before we did the live show, which is terrible.
How's that holding up?
It's really bad. I mean, it's
bad.
It's much worse than I remember it to be, and especially that stuff. At the beginning, everyone says, "Oh, the beginning's great. It's got that really great stuff in the restaurant." It's bad. It's really bad. If you play it back now,
it's bad now, but it was good.
If that bit's bad now, James, you wait. You wait, my friend.
That's the thing. You see, I played it back on Xbox when it first came out.
Oh, you played it?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Yeah.
But it was a long time ago, and I've forgotten most of it. But I remember very fondly that bit, and it being great. But, I mean, probably back in the day, it was good, like back when we first played it. But now it's really terrible. I mean, it's got the usual David Cage stuff of, like, things not making any logical sense whatsoever. Like, there's this bit I had where I had the knife, I had the murder knife, and he picked it up, and then I don't know what he did with it. And then suddenly it had appeared underneath, like underneath this sort of rock, like, at the back of the toilets. Like, when they found it, I was like, I didn't put it there. There's no way that happens. And it's all just stuff like that.
Who put this murder knife here?
Yeah, but but in general, it's bad. I mean, also, like, the characterization's terrible. I mean, it's quite embarrassing in places now. And also, I mean, when I was playing it, it was really, like, I think I had my TV down, like, it wasn't bright enough, and so I couldn't see what was going on, and I failed, like, multiple times, and it got quite stressful.
Oh, that is such a shit excuse.
No,
you're crap at QTEs.
I know, well, there is that as well, and also, this game has got, like, the worst implementation of QTEs, like, ever. They're really, and I swear it's because of input lag, like, or something, because I just, there was one bit, and I was getting quite angry, because I think I spent about 20 minutes trying to do one, like, QTE, and I just didn't think I was ever going to be able to do it. It was really, really terrible. And
I'll tell you what, right? I will say this I'll slightly defend the game in saying that, it probably hasn't aged well, but at the time, that opening area felt amazing. What didn't feel amazing, even back then, was when the Lightning Man showed up. That was the bit that where I remember back then just going, what? What the fuck is going on now? I can't wait to see how bad that's aged.
But yeah, it's really not good. So I've been playing that. I'm also playing another game called Burly Men at Sea. I don't think any of you have heard of this yet.
The fuck is this?
It's a kind of adventure game on Switch, although it's come out on everything else as well. But it's a narrative story where you have these three characters, and it's sort of like a sort of a storybook, like where you go from one area to another, and each time there's sort of branching areas, so that the story progresses differently every time you play it. And the whole point is you're supposed to keep going back and doing the story again, but then seeing what other kind of different endings you can get. It looks really, really nice. The music's fantastic, but I'm just bored. I don't think it's very interesting, but that's just me. But I've still got to play that, and also got. Do you know Galaxy on Fire Manticore? Have anyone heard of this?
No. I think I've seen those words put together in a sentence before.
Yeah.
Really?
Well,
I definitely haven't.
Galaxy on Fire was a series that came out on, like, iPhone originally, like, a long time ago, and it's basically like a space shooter. And this has been the first one that they've, like, converted for consoles instead. And so it's the most recent iPhone game, but they've kind of scaled it up and made it look nicer, and it's like a X-Wing sort of space shooter. And I just started that, but unfortunately that's also got problems because it keeps crashing on my Switch, which is odd. But yeah, apart from, I can speak about more of that next week after I play it a bit more.
They've obviously announced today that the Detroit Becoming Human, the new David Cage game, the game's gone gold, and the demo's out tomorrow, which is yesterday. If you're listening to this podcast on Wednesday, are you going to play it and or stream the demo, or are you going to save it for the real game, the full game even?
I'm not.
Oh, you got to save it for the real game.
I'm not playing the demo because I want to wait for the to play the full thing. But I'm still unsure what to do about it because I'm not sure whether I should stream it or not, because, like, other people are going to want to play it, and I don't think anyone will want to watch me playing it because I don't think it. I guess my recommendation is if you are going to stream it, if you probably want to wait like a month. Or because I've just found, particularly say God of War, which I was streaming the other night. People are like, I don't want to watch this because I want to play it myself. And I also found that, say, with Uncharted 4 when I've streamed that in our launch week. So there are benefits and issues, I guess, with streaming games on day one, particularly narrative games like this. But yeah, I'm really excited for Detroit. I can't wait to see that. Well, I'm quite looking forward to it because I've already seen, like, there's been obviously, like, some media have been like, it's like the hyperbole's out again about, like, how, this is David Cage's, like, best thing and it's better than you think it is and all that kind of thing. And I mean, the only thing I can say to that is I'll believe that when I played it because people said the same thing.
I saw that today. The article was really funny because it was sort of like saying, I think it was the one that you posted. Was that Games Radar? It said, no, I experienced emotion.
Emotions were felt.
It wasn't even like, yeah, I
I had
felt
an
emotion
emotion.
playing this game.
Yeah.
It was like it was written by like a bot. You know what I mean? Although I didn't read the article, it was just the headline. But still, yeah, no. The only other game that I've touched on this week is I got Kirby for Harry in the end because he must have put about 50 hours into the demo, which had two levels on it. So we got the full game for him, and guess what? He's just been playing those 2 levels over and over again. What a waste of fucking time and money. But he seems to be enjoying it, so I don't care. As long as he's happy.
Yeah, my son's
There's new
still
power-ups on
loving that game every time that he plays on the Switch, because he's only allowed it on the weekend,
Nuts,
and it's
innit?
the first thing he puts on every
Absolutely
time.
nuts.
I mean, it's a good
Yeah.
game, but the amount of time he's put into it is insane. It's
Yeah, it's crazy. Same with Harry, man. He's obsessed. Like, and it's insane watching him play it. Like how he knows, because I haven't played it. That's what's weird for me, because I haven't played it. Watching him switch power-ups between characters, and he knows what he's doing. Like, when you see him go into the menus of that, like, because when you select a power-up, you select who replaces who and all that sort of stuff. When you see him doing all that shit, it's like, whoa, what the fuck? You're like some super child. I can't do that. I wouldn't know what to do.
Yeah, I mean,
but there he is.
See, I finished it, and there was like parts of that game where I was thinking, oh, I don't want to have to do this ever again. And I know that as soon as like my son gets to that, he's going to ask me to help him, but he hasn't done, and I was quite pleased that he still seems to be able to do it all right. So it's good.
It's a good kids game.
Yeah.
Right, okay, should we get on to the emails this week? Then get out of here.
Hell yeah, if you want to email us, it's thecomputergameshow@gmail.com. Alright, first up, we got Fraser. Hi guys, couple of questions for the show which might be interesting / funny. If you could be in any video game world as yourself, which would it be? That's the first one.
Any video game.
So you, Dave,
world.
get transported into a video game world. What game world is it?
See, because, I mean, I could... Well, Rocket League. That's what it'd be. It'd be Rocket League.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
good
that's
shout.
a great one.
If I could... I mean, we don't know if... Right, okay, there's 2 ways to look at this. There's no people in those cars, right?
No.
So, I mean, if we wanted to suspend reality even further than we already are, then, you know, I would say, yeah, no, there's people in the cars and I'm driving one and I pull off one of those amazing saves, right? But also, just thinking about it, sitting in the audience, because there's people in the audience, sitting in the audience watching that shit go on.
Yeah.
Fuck me. Oh, yes.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yes, please. Wouldn't it be wicked, right, if Sony did something with Rocket League where you can spectate games sitting within the stands on PlayStation VR? I'd be up for that.
Oh yeah, I'd try that shit. That'd be cool.
Yeah,
Watch the finals.
Well cool.
Watch
the finals, sitting in the thing as if you're in the stadium. Yeah, I'm all over that.
Rocket League's a good shout, to be honest, mate. But yeah, it's clearly FIFA playing up front for Man United.
Yeah, but this is it. As you
got, yeah, I'll give it a go. Imagine
Instant
an episode of Match of the Day.
Yeah. We've played football before, and I'm not saying that I would be able to compete on a field of FIFA, but nor would you.
No, but I did hit the bar when we tried to do that, so, you know, I win.
You did.
Yeah.
You did, wouldn't you? You won the crossbar challenge.
I did.
There's no doubt in that.
Did. Right.
By half a second, because afterwards I fucking volleyed it onto the bar the other side of the pitch. But wait, Matt and James haven't answered.
Vice City?
James will go, oh, Yakuza. James will go, Yakuza, because I'll get a tattoo on a dragon.
You right, Dave?
Wait, is that your answer, James?
No, well, you see, I was thinking FIFA as well, but then obviously there's no way I could play. I mean, I wouldn't mind managing, that'd be fine. But, yeah.
I've never seen you play FIFA. I've never seen you play FIFA. I've never seen you play football.
And you never will. Because,
really?
No, 'cause I'm too fat now. I can't play football. I mean, it's terrible. I'm in terrible.
Did you play football as a kid and stuff?
Of course I did. I was.
Were you any good?
Yeah, well, I used to play for my school team and stuff. I enjoyed playing.
Hey, look at James rolling that
But
out.
again, this is before I got like fat. So yeah, nowadays it's not going to happen.
It doesn't stop you kicking a ball. I like to see you kick a ball.
I'm a physical wreck, Dave. I can't do it.
You could tell instantly, can't you, if someone's like a bit decent at football. The moment they kick the ball for the first time, you know what it like. You can tell straight away.
Mine would probably be Vice City.
All right, Matt. Why?
I think it'd be great to bomb along the to those tunes in that sort of era. I love that.
Matt, you get arrested very quickly. I could just imagine it.
Why? For what?
I just can't.
Just the way you dress.
Yeah. Well, I'll be dressed like that. I'll be wearing like a lilac suit, whatever, wouldn't I? Pastel coloured suit.
Yeah, but when you're walking down the road, if you were living in that world, when you could be in constant fear that you're just going to get hit by a car driving along the pavement.
Yeah, but it'd be really funny, wouldn't it? Just to see the police be that mad.
Yeah, it would be quite funny. You're right. Okay, next question.
And if you could be any video game character in this world with your same life, who would you be? Keep up the good work. Great show, mostly.
We know John's.
What's my one?
Kratos, right?
No, because you just murder everyone. Can't go around doing that. I don't want to be like Kratos.
Would you have to murder everyone?
Well, no, but
just having that strength, just bowling around the place.
Yeah, it'd be alright.
Because that's a nice little touch.
You also got to live with the fucking horror.
Yeah.
Did you pick up on that? I love that little touch in God of War as well. There's chests everywhere, right? They're massive stone chests, and obviously, it's like when you put this in games, like people go, "Well, who lives chests around? Why don't anyone else open them and get the cool thing out of them?" The cool thing about the chests in God of War is that there's not a lock on them, right? But there doesn't need to be. They just look way too heavy to open. It's just Kratos can just do it easily. I like the way. Yeah, I like that. He just sort of punches through the lid.
Even in the old ones, there was like a physicality. Whenever you got a chest, it was like everything about it. That's brilliant. Class, world class.
A video game character in the real world. I don't know, probably Yoshi. Or I'll get trapped straight away, wouldn't I?
You'd be dead within a day. Yeah, vivisection.
I would be dead within a day.
Do you know who I'll be? I don't know his name, but I'll be basically someone from Minecraft.
Why?
Just because, again, it'll be funny to see that, like walking around the place.
Blockman. Yeah, that would be quite funny.
Yeah, exactly. Like
on his electric skateboard.
Yeah, photos at work. Seeing that guy go down the street. It would just be brilliant. Imagine that you're in a club and you see that guy just bowling around. Brilliant.
I'd probably be Max Payne, actually, thinking about it. Just slowing down time whenever I want.
know, but the horror, you've got to live with the horror again.
No.
Yeah,
here's what I'd do. Forget the
horror.
horror. I'd be Max Payne and I'd become the best goalkeeper in the world.
Well, you could be the guy, you could be Chow Yun-Fat from Stranglehold. He's got less horror, same skills.
Okay, same skills. I'll be that guy. I don't know his name, but I'll be Max Payne, that guy. And I'd go and sign up for a local football team, and I'd play in goal. And every time someone shoot, I'd just be like proper top right hand corner, just punching it out of the way. I'd save every penalty. It'd be brilliant. I'd be all over that. James,
obviously, it's got to be Kiryu from.
Okay, next question.
No, because it'd be great. I could go around and rip my shirt off as well. Whenever I was going to fight anybody, it'd be amazing. I'd love to do that.
You could do that right now. Go to a Millwall game.
I could, John, but I haven't got. I mean, obviously, I'm not that.
Get a tattoo, James. We all know you're going to get a tattoo.
I need that.
Get a tattoo. Rip your shirt off. Go have a fight. It's going to be lovely. Yeah, good.
Next live show. It's
yeah. Right.
Watch James get a tattoo live on stage.
And he's going to rip his shirt off.
A tattoo like that, definitely, I probably would pass out several times because it's massive.
Good, right? Good content.
Hey guys, there's a Destiny 2 DLC coming up in the next few weeks. Are any of you interested? Cheers, Robotic Monkey.
Sorry, I missed that. What game was that?
Yeah, is that a gag?
It was.
Yeah, I'm not interested.
Shame, innit?
Yeah, it is a shame. But
I'm all over that.
Oh yeah.
I want to play it. Yes,
I didn't even play it. I love
playing that game. We didn't complete it. We played a bit of it, but Chet's been texting me and saying we're thinking about getting back on Destiny. So any excuse, I'll be there. I'll be there. I love playing that game. I love
the
how
fucking
it plays.
new maps out on PUBG this week.
Yeah, tomorrow.
I would much rather play the Destiny DLC than the new map on PUBG.
What?
Definitely, 100%. 100%.
Oh, Dave. Right, anyone else care about Destiny? Of course they don't. Why am I even saying it?
I'm with David on this, actually. I'd rather play Destiny 2 than PUBG.
Cheers, mate.
You do what you want. Evening, lads. just wanted to know which games/movies/shows do you simply not get on with? I'm not talking about genres, I'm talking titles. For example, I just can't get into the Yakuza games, Harry Potter, and the Walking Dead series. People absolutely love them, and I'm just sat here like, why? Don't worry about Harry Potter, you're a grown man. I lived in Japan, used to own an owl, and live near a cemetery. You'd think I'd like them, but I just don't. That's quite funny. I should have let him say that bit. Sorry. Anyway, the live show was great. Here's to another 100 podcasts. See you at episode 200. That's from Oodles.
Cheers, mate.
Yeah, loads of stuff. I mean, I don't. Like Harry Potter just drives me insane. But then again, like I say, I mean, the first book came out when I was like 16, 17. It's not for me.
Yeah.
Walking Dead.
There's not a lot of stuff that I actively just like can't get into other than Yakuza, and I guess the fantasy stuff. I mean, but I haven't. I could say Lord of the Rings, but I haven't tried.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really count. But yeah, I mean, I tried Skyrim for about 30 minutes, and I was like, nah, you're right. Yakuza, obviously. But yeah, Matt, you're just into anything, you know.
Well, I'll give everything a go for an hour. I mean, I can't think of anything I've like actively. I mean, the Harry Potter thing that's definitely passed me by as well. I mean, I also never played a Pokemon game, but I just like, I mean, yeah, I just didn't get into. There's loads of things. I mean, there's a billion classic movies I haven't seen. Yeah, we'll be all day.
Yeah, but that don't count.
Yeah, not stuff you haven't seen. Stuff you have seen.
Have you ever been in a situation where you tried to get into wrestling?
Tried to get into what, sorry?
Wrestling.
No.
Like WWE.
No, I mean, I watched it a little bit with some mates when I was at college, but no, I've never really been into it. I used to watch a load of UFC, but I haven't done that for a long time. No, I never got into wrestling.
James?
I've tried on multiple occasions to get into like Final Fantasy games and just fail every time because I just don't like them, it seems. And also, I had the same thing when I was younger with Pokemon as well. I always tried to do it. Like every time a new one of those came out, I always used to buy it and be like, this is the time, and end up just getting bored really quickly and not really getting it. But it's just...
too old.
I like that first one. I was into that first one.
You're just young enough, that's why. All the rest of us are too old.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
We're all too
fucking
old.
Yeah, it was just a year below me, actually. It was weird, but yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that with like Transformers and stuff. I don't have like a massive love for Transformers.
Yeah,
and it felt like I was just a year too young for it.
Mm. Yep.
Like I definitely grew up in the Nickelodeon era where it was like, you know, it was all that sort of telly.
See, I didn't. I was a bit old for that, which is a shame.
Right.
No, it wasn't. Trust me, you had the better of it.
On here,
go on.
Right, it says Discord, John. We have the notes written out, different sections. I couldn't do it because I normally fill these in, but I was running super late. Trains not interesting, but I couldn't fill them out. James did. So thank you for that, James. But on here it says Discord, John. It just says just one question about objective truth. It's too late in the evening for this stuff. I don't know what that means.
Because there was only one question in there, and it was all about, is there objective truth and all that? And I knew that by the time we got to this, it'd be about 11:30, and I don't want to talk about that. It's too late.
I mean, you're very confusing, but I'm
glad we included that in the pod.
Don't put it in there, James.
Well, no, I just put it there as a note to John. I didn't know he was going to read it out, but
Okay.
I just thought it was like a riddle for us to solve, but yeah, it was just a bad one. Tweets. Right.
Not going to do that again next time, John. Someone else can do it.
I'll do it myself. No, it's fine. Right, COT and OAO both discussed on your show where some people found them really fun to play. See if these...
What?
Oh, fuck it, Al. How was I supposed to read this? Gone. You're gone. That's not getting read out. Erased.
What?
Right, Daily AFC. Daily AFC. Bloodborne was on PSN the other month, so I was going to give it a go. Not played any of those games, brackets the Soul ones. Is that a good place to start? Pretty much, that's where I started. I had played Dark Souls a bit before that, but that was the first one I finished. Can't go wrong. It's a fucking classic.
It also plays completely different to... not completely different, but it is different enough to stand on its own. So yeah, probably Bloodborne's a pretty good place to start. What will be weird is when you play Bloodborne and possibly complete it, then going, I like that, let me try Dark Souls. And then, yeah, you have to kind of relearn a big chunk of it.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you fight in different ways on that. But yeah,
Have you tried Bloodborne yet, James?
He's fallen asleep.
Sorry, no.
That's that.
No, I've not.
What happened there?
No, because I had it muted, and then I had to unmute it because I wasn't anticipating your question. But yeah,
excellent.
Okay.
Well, whatever. Anyway, no, I haven't played it yet. I've got it, but I've not played it. But I keep meaning to.
All right. Grecian Phil, did Matt ever get the red felt tip pen off his face before going to work today in reference to his fantastic Kratos cosplay?
I did, yeah. I mean, it was just some face paint, and it came off. Well, immediately after the stream, I had a shower, and it all came off, thankfully, because that would have been quite embarrassing. Although
nobody would have noticed at your work, mate.
It's a fucking good point.
Right, Fishosaurus, God of War continues a trend of ever-improving AI companions in modern games. So, how much of the events of the past week Nat's fault?
I mean, I understand why, but I felt a bit sorry for Matt because everyone was going, this is Matt's fault that the podcast is fucked, isn't it?
Yeah, everyone was blaming me.
Here's what happened. So the reason the audio fucked up, we can't blame anyone really. It was a technical fault. When, people were saying, oh, there should be a backup recording. Well, I took my laptop there specifically to make a backup recording, but they didn't necessarily say you're not allowed to plug that into my soundboard, but that was pretty much what they were saying. So we didn't do that, and I didn't feel in a position to demand that they do it. So, I guess my lack of pushing them to plug it in was partly my fault, but what devastating problem. And the guy that we talked to, John T at EGX, that sort of organised everything and introduced us on stage and stuff, very apologetic and was clearly embarrassed about the whole thing. So yeah, it's not his fault.
Yeah,
it was just one of those things.
No
really,
one
of those things.
Definitely not my fault.
Weren't Matt's fault. No.
All right. Dave Hughes, loving the podcast, although there has been less anger recently, which saddens me. That I don't think
you're
is true.
kidding me.
Yeah. You must be on an old episode.
Yeah. My question to you all is this: if you could only eat one food for a month, what would that food be? Steak,
McDonald's,
pizza,
curry,
McDonald's.
No, lovely.
Right. Okay.
Anything healthy? Is there not going to choose anything healthy?
Yeah, steak. Steak is healthy.
Let's go through this. Right. Steak, I get. Steak's lovely. Right. I get that. McDonald's, Matt.
I mean, I could happily eat that every day.
You're fucking kidding me.
Did you not see that film where that guy did exactly that and nearly
died? When I watched it, I was starving. I was like,
it did. To be fair,
I could murder a Big Mac.
I finished that movie and all I wanted was McDonald's. That's how fucked up their marketing is.
All that taught me is don't eat it every single day for 30 days.
Which is exactly what you just said you'd do.
Yeah, I know, but I'm up for that challenge.
But after I eat a McDonald's, I feel dirty for a couple of days.
It's that, and it's the low grade meat, and just it just doesn't taste so good.
Yeah,
let's not kid ourselves. It does taste good.
It doesn't matter.
But no, I mean, for me, pizza, it's just my favourite food of all time.
Me too, but I couldn't eat it for a month.
I was gonna say after like that month, you wouldn't want to have another pizza forever, probably.
No, because you have different flavours and stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. If I have more than one a week, I'm like, I'm done with this.
Man, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I could eat it. I
would
just feel so unbelievably awful. I couldn't face doing it. But right, Kintaris, did any of you get any good Rezzed swag? Who made the best effort to draw you into their stall?
Zero res swag.
Yeah,
we got us like matches and stuff from that one place.
Well, that was the funniest. So
yeah,
there was a game called, what was it called?
Steel Rats.
Yeah. And they were putting matches, like branded matches, out next to the thing for people to play. Like once they played the game, they could pick up some matches. And while we were there, security come over and said, "Look, dude, you can't just give away matches to people at this big public event. That's just that does not sound like a good idea." And I remember Matt and James walked away because James got some of these branded matches, and they both went off somewhere and they come back and James looked like he was about to have a panic attack. And you were chatting to Matt and you just went, that wasn't right. Yeah,
he was really freaking out, poor thing.
And you said, what do you mean? I said, what happened, James? He said, Matt told me to chuck the matches in the bin, so I did that. I went, right. Well, what if that causes a fire hazard? Matt just turned around and went, they weren't lit, James. I think you're going to be all right.
Also, the way you said that, I didn't say chuck them in a bin. It basically is like, where'd I put them? I was like, just throw them in the bin. There's a bin there where we're having coffee.
It was all like paper in the bin and everything. I was just thinking,
but they weren't lit. What was someone going to do? Go in there?
I don't know. Maybe
what if a match fell out and suddenly struck the...
Maybe they get rubbed up against something or something, and it like burns down Rezzed.
What if someone threw loads of flint in there and it sparked? And then I think I said you had the blood of 1,000 nerds on your hands, and you said something else.
And I said, yeah, I really wouldn't worry about that. Yeah, no swag. No. Zero swag.
No swag, no fires.
Okay, and then last one. Not long, from Ricky Cartwright, not long till Detroit Become Human is out. Are you guys planning to pick it up on day one? Can we get a Walking Dead / Heavy Rain style spoiler cast special? Yeah, I reckon I'm going to pick it up day one.
I'm definitely going to get that, yeah, can't wait.
Really?
Hell yeah.
I don't know. I guess, I mean, I'm going to play it eventually. I don't know if I'm going to get it day one.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess I'll decide. Well, do we know, what day is it out? Do you know?
Mid-May, I don't know, mid-May.
Well, we'll see. I mean, I definitely want to get it, and because I loved Heavy Rain, didn't play Beyond, but yeah, I don't know about day one, but I'm there. Can't wait.
That's it.
I'm still not sure whether I should start it straight away or not. I don't know.
Why is that?
I don't know. What do you think? I think in some ways it'd be quite good to like just do it. Just like get it going. But I don't know.
I personally reckon you should wait a couple of weeks, but that's just me.
Why do you think you should wait for a couple of weeks? Well, before...
Because for a lot of people will want to play it themselves and won't want to watch a stream of someone else playing it. And after a couple of weeks, the hardcore fans would have played it. People who aren't bothered will happily watch the stream.
The hardcore David Cage fans, will have
there are some out there probably.
There was one question that James didn't put in that I'm really interested to see what everyone's answer is. Can I ask it? I mean, it's your thing, John.
Well, you cut out there, mate. What did you say?
I said there was one question that James didn't put in on the list,
right? And
I'm really interested to hear your answers. Can I ask it? Is that? It was from Andy Godwin. He said, "What game would all of you want to be an NPC in? What quest would you give?" Don't worry about that stuff. But like, don't worry about it.
I did put it in. It's just John just deleted it just before we were about to.
Okay, that's fine. Sorry, John. I'm reading out a question you deleted. But what like game would you want to be an NPC in, and why? James,
what game? But this is really similar to the other question.
This is why I deleted it, James.
Yeah, which makes sense.
No, because I'm like, not that you have to live in that world. It's just like if you could be in a game, I guess. Like, what would you like if you had a
Rocket
choice
League.
to go into? No, shut up. If you had a choice to go into like a studio and record lines and be a character in a game, like which would you choose?
What, me personally?
Well, it's Yakuza, isn't it?
You well, okay.
Nah.
I thought it was interesting.
I think it would be. I mean,
don't want to play the game.
I wouldn't. I mean, going back to that thing about the going into a game, though, I wouldn't mind. You know that scene in Heavy Rain where there's the chase that goes on that's through the through that market. I wouldn't mind being NPC.
Would you like to be the guy that works in the fruit stall that he runs into?
I'd just love to have watched that going on in real life because it looked amazing.
Okay, maybe you're right. Maybe it's not different enough. Okay, fine. Matt, do you want to do your thing?
Yeah, just before we do, basically some listeners after meeting up with the me and obviously chatting on Discord or whatever, they've actually set up a TGCS fans Twitter account. It's at TGCS fans on Twitter, and basically if you want to follow that account, it's run by some listeners, and I think they're going to potentially arrange meetups and gaming nights and all sort of stuff. So if you're into that, go and follow at TGCS fans on Twitter. Away from that, we are doing a live streams. We're doing a few a week. I streamed God of War last week. The full video of that is on our YouTube channel, and I do Dark Souls on a Sunday, and I'm also doing one on a Wednesday as well at 9:00. So go over to twitch.tv/thecomputergameshow or follow us on the app or whatever to see when the streams go live. We've got Discord. Go to bit.ly/TGCS Discord to chat with like-minded people in your area, and the show's on Spotify, it's on Apple Podcasts. Leave us a review. Reviews actually super help us, so if you haven't left a review, it takes very little time at all. We really appreciate it. Just say what you want. Yeah, we'll love that, so thanks ever so much.
And yeah, we haven't got a Patreon. We do this all for free for you guys and girls, so why don't you just drop us a couple of quid, eh? right? We've got a PayPal, and we do a little tip thing. We put our hat on the floor at the end of a
long,
month.
hard month.
Long, hard month of podcasting. And if you would like to show some gratitude, then that hat is at what address?
It's paypal.me/thecomputergameshow.
We appreciate it. Thank you. And thanks to everyone that has put tips in there during the month. It's really appreciated. It goes towards helping support the show. For example, it's gone towards James's ticket that he's not taking full advantage of to the Games Media Brit List Award. That is what you guys have essentially paid for. We said we've paid for it, but it all come out of our cut from the PayPal, the tips, and everything you've put towards the show. So James appreciates it.
Yeah,
don't you, James?
If any of you have donated, have an issue, say, with how we're spending your money, please let James know.
Yeah. Also,
thanks.
James, I think not only do you owe a thank you to us, you also owe a thank you to the listeners. So do you want to take this time to thank everyone for buying you a ticket to go to the Games Media Brit List Award?
I would profusely like to thank the listeners for their generosity in providing us with this money so that I could have a ticket to go to an awards event.
And thanking us?
Well, and obviously, and you for being generous to give up your cut of this money so that I could go to the event. It's really very much appreciated, David. And Matt and John.
Wow, you were really tacked on to the end of that thank you there, guys. I wouldn't have that.
Yeah,
to
what's
be
that all
honest.
about?
I'd be offended.
Yeah,
I'd be offended. I mean, John's not got a ticket.
Yeah,
you know,
but you just
you owe him.
John's got
That's
contacts. He'll be fine.
No, I don't think I will be. I don't actually think I will be. But never mind. It's all right. You can mug me off. I don't care. I need a piss too much to care right now. Don't care about anything. Just need a piss.
Good.
Well, I've got half an hour on Life is Strange, so strap in, John.
Thanks for living it. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.